हो गया पेन ड्राइव में? क्लास चल रहे हैं? थोड़ा जल्दी करो भाई। लेट्स डू वन थिंग, अगर नहीं हो रहा है तो लाइक लेट्स स्टार्ट देन, ठीक है? हाँ हाँ हाँ। वो पेन ड्राइव दे दो। हाँ और वहां पे आ जाएंगे। हाँ वो जूम लिंक है ना, फोर्थ आज का जो है ना वो लिंक, वो कनेक्ट कर दो, ठीक है? दैट इज वर्किंग राइट नाउ। नो नो नो, वी ऑलरेडी हैव इट। टुडे सेशन का जो लिंक है ना, नो नो नथिंग, ऑलरेडी इट इज वर्किंग, आई हैव जॉइंड इट ऑन जूम, ठीक है? वो लिंक मैं भूल गया था कि आज का एक है हमारे पास। Financial systems, initial public offer, money market, participants of market, preferences and role of regulatory and IB. Okay, कितने हुए? 6 हैं और एक आपका है 7, ठीक है ना? 7 प्रेजेंटेशन। और किसी का पेंडिंग है? चलो देन लेट्स पहले स्टार्ट करते हैं। फाइनेंशियल सिस्टम्स का पीपीटी किसका है?
सर ग्रुप पर डालना है क्या पीपीटी?
What I will be doing, you can share your PPT over there through video, okay? Okay. एक मिनट मैं आपका शेयर कर देता हूँ। विजिबल है पीछे से? हाँ मेरी जगह भी पीछे आ जाओ। हाँ 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 yes, directly with that arrow key you can do it. And what you can do is, if it is your first turn, you can sit over there and just change the slides. Alternatively you can do that. Okay.
Good morning, teachers and friends. My name is Siddharth. My name is Amansh. And we will be introducing to, we will be giving introduction on financial systems. And he'll take over the introduction, and the structure and the function I'll be taking it over. Hello. Let's start with financial system. What is financial system?
Just a minute, hold on. Online students, anyone of you are there today? Voice is not coming clearly.
Hello.
Yes. Hello. Who are there online today?
Hello.
Yes. Voice is clear.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
I am saying.
The 9 students.
नहीं आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही अभी clearly. Is there any issue over there with either net or something?
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Okay, do one thing. Is the PPT Hello. Visible? Is the PPT visible to you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. PPT is visible.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yes, you can start.
So let's start with financial system. What is financial system? Financial system is a system which manages flow of funds between lenders and borrowers. lenders, those who are in surplus of funds, and borrowers, those who are in need of funds. Through what? Through direct finance, that is financial market, and indirect finance, that is financial intermediaries. Intermediaries means pension funds, mutual funds, commercial banks. Financial system is one of the most important aspects of economic development. Primary goal of financial system is to accelerate the growth of economy. So Siddharth will take functions of financial system.
Functions of financial system. Facilitates the flow of funds. Facilitates. It's a medium. It's an intermediary between all the borrowers and lenders. Fulfills the short-term and the long-term requirements of the market. Short-term requirements, everything. Financial systems, and determines the price of the financial services. Price determined whenever it's issued on the market as well as off the market, and plays a role in the intermediary. Next, structure of financial systems. Financial markets and financial instruments will be taken by me. Financial participants and regulations will be taken by Hannah. Hannah, next, please. Financial markets. There are 4 markets: capital market, money market, forex market, and derivatives market. So basically, capital market is subdivided into primary market and secondary market. Primary market where all the securities are issued and those are listed on stock, and then secondary market where they are listed. And basically those are 2 types of security: debt and equity. And then we have the money market where all the short-term requirements of company could be fulfilled, like treasury bills through securities, which are treasury bills, commercial papers, certificate deposits, and call and money notice. And the 4th is for forex market, where foreign exchanges happens, and we can trade in where currencies are traded basically. And then we have derivatives where future and call options are there. Next, then financial instruments, stocks, equity and debt, then bonds, short-term and long-term bonds, government securities to fulfill. Government securities are basically to fulfill short-term requirements of the company. Debentures, debt, then foreign exchange, currencies, commodities, oil, and all those other things. Insurance and pension funds. There are many types of insurance and pension funds. Anand, please take over.
So we'll see financial participants. We'll divide it into 3 parts. Financial participants. So first one is those who have surplus funds. Second one, those who are facing deficit of funds. And third one, those organizations or institutions who helps lenders and borrowers to carry out all transactions. First में आएगा investors, participants में जो surplus funds वाले हैं. तो investors क्या है? They will invest money in the expectations of profitable returns. It can be individual or it can be institutions. Second one, those who are facing deficit of funds, that can be issuers. Issuers क्या है? उनको funds की need है growth के लिए. Issuers belong to demand side of process. Issuers lead manager के help से, यानी investment bankers के help से securities develop करेगा, वो register करेगा और उसके बाद वो security करेगा, उसमें से fund raise करेगा. Issuers can be domestic or international. They can be government, private corporations or investment trusts. और third part में देखते हैं अपन the organizations or institutions who helps lenders and borrowers to carry out their transactions. तो इसमें कौन-कौन आता है? First of all, lead manager. Lead manager क्या करता है? They are independent financial institution appointed by the company to manage their IPO process. तो ये जो IPO process जो है वो end to end पूरा manage करता है. Lead manager को book runner, underwriters, merchant banker और इन्वेस्टर बैंकर्स के नाम से भी जाना जाता है. वो आईपीओ प्रोसेस में भी असिस्ट करता है और राइट इशू वाली जो प्रोसेस है उसमें भी असिस्ट करता है. उसके बाद आता है ब्रोकर्स एंड डीलर्स. तो ब्रोकर्स और डीलर्स जो है वो साइलेंट प्लेयर है ये पूरे फाइनेंशियल ट्रांजैक्शन के प्रोसेस में, इन्वेस्टर की एक्टिविटी में.
So they are catalyst for financial transactions. ब्रोकर और डीलर में एक बेसिक डिफरेंस है. ब्रोकर जब ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ कस्टमर जब वो ट्रेड ऑर्डर एग्जीक्यूट करता है तो अपन उसको ब्रोकर बोलते हैं. और डीलर इज एन इंडिविजुअल और फर्म एग्जीक्यूटिंग ट्रेड ऑर्डर्स फ्रॉम देयर ओन इन्वेस्टमेंट. तो इसमें बेसिक डिफरेंस क्या है? डीलर जो है वो खुद डिसीजंस लेता है. ब्रोकर जो है वो डिसीजन मतलब कस्टमर उसके डिसीजंस लेता है फिर वो एग्जीक्यूट करता है. ओके. फिफ्थ वन इज डिपॉजिटरीज. इट इज स्पेशलाइज्ड फाइनेंशियल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन दैट होल्ड सिक्योरिटीज सच एज शेयर्स सर्टिफिकेट्स इन एन इलेक्ट्रॉनिक फॉर्म. उनका गोल क्या होता है? इजी ट्रांसफर ऑफ ओनरशिप. इंडिया में दो डिपॉजिटरीज है. एक एनएसडीएल जो नेशनल सिक्योरिटीज डिपॉजिटरी लिमिटेड है जो एनएससी के साथ एसोसिएटेड है. और सीडीएसएल है सेंट्रल डिपॉजिटरी सिक्योरिटीज लिमिटेड जो बॉम्बे स्टॉक एक्सचेंज के साथ एसोसिएटेड है. लास्ट वन आता है क्लियरिंग एजेंट्स. इट इज अ फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशन दैट प्रोवाइड क्लियरिंग एंड सेटलमेंट सर्विस फॉर सिक्योरिटी ट्रांजैक्शंस. The clearing house will assume the role of a seller for the buyer and become buyer for the seller. इसको जो है नोवेशन बोलते हैं. तो इसका फायदा क्या होगा? This will help to reduce the overall turnaround time and the process of transferring trade title to clearing house. इसको अपन नोवेशन बोलेंगे. इसमें अपन देखेंगे फाइनेंशियल रेगुलेटर्स. तो सबसे पहले कॉर्पोरेट एंड रिटेल बैंक्स का जो रेगुलेटर है आरबीआई. आरबीआई कंट्रोल्स मनी सप्लाई, monitors key indicators like GDP and inflation, formulates monetary policies like inflation, credit and interest rates. स्टॉक एक्सचेंज के रेगुलेटर जो है वो सेबी है, स्टॉक सिक्योरिटीज एक्सचेंज बोर्ड ऑफ इंडिया, which regulates the function of securities market to keep check on malpractices and protect the investors. Anti-money laundering के लिए 2002 में PAML करके एक्ट लाया गया था, प्रिवेंशन ऑफ एंटी मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग एक्ट. तो ये क्या है? बेसिकली एंटी मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग इज ब्लैक मनी को व्हाइट मनी में कन्वर्ट करने के लिए जो भी ट्रांजैक्शन कैरी आउट होते वो एंटी मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग में आते हैं. फोर्थ है पेंशन फंड. तो पेंशन फंड के लिए PFRD है which is पेंशन फंड रेगुलेटरी एंड डेवलपमेंट अथॉरिटी जो 2003 में एस्टैब्लिश हुई थी और ये डेवलप्स एंड रेगुलेट्स पेंशन सेक्टर इन इंडिया. लास्ट वन इज इंश्योरेंस. इसके लिए IRDAI है, इंश्योरेंस रेगुलेटरी एंड डेवलपमेंट अथॉरिटी ऑफ इंडिया. ये 1999 में एस्टैब्लिश हुई थी और ये इंश्योरेंस वाला बिजनेस जो है वो रेगुलेट और प्रमोट करती है. इसके पहले कमोडिटीज के लिए भी फॉरवर्ड मार्केट कमीशन हुआ करता था जो अराउंड 1999 में सेबी के साथ मर्ज हुआ.
I'll be explaining the financial services, which is the last part. Basically, financial services are divided into fund-based services and fee-based services. Fund-based services are leasing, mutual funds, and housing finance. They basically charge you. The institutions charge you, merchant banks, everyone's charge you for that. And where fee-based advisory, portfolio management, brokerage. Those are brokerage which they give you. And thank you. That's it.
Wait. See, what I will be doing is for every presentation that is being made, I'll be directly sharing the feedback back to back. Okay. तो क्या है कि आपको directly उसी टाइम पे आ जाए. ठीक है. First of all, see, please use only English language across the presentation. Don't use Hindi language while delivering it. I am using it for the sake of your simplicity because there are few students who are not able to still understand the basic terminologies that are there in the financial markets. Okay, correct. So don't use that Hindi language. Second, in your case, you are just naming or providing the names over here. You are not explaining the terms. Like say, for example, it is broking services or brokerage services. Now, how those actually things are working out, you need to explain me. I know the names. right? Either you give me examples or you tell me the names. Like, okay, say if there is Zerodha, which is a brokerage firm, it allows you to buy the stock, sell the stock, and return of which they are actually providing, charging you the brokerage for that. Okay, so this has to be a very simplified way of explaining all these things. Okay, since it is the first presentation, I can give that leverage, but for all the rest, you need to follow the same pattern. Don't just like read out the names, whatever you have written in the slides. Okay, it doesn't look good over there. Okay, one more thing, you confuse over that they are actually charging services over here. They are also charging services over here. So both of them are all already charging it. Okay, it's just that here there are major corporations working out. Here there will be individual corporations or companies or private based companies, and fund based will be more into mutual funds providing loans and so on and so forth. Whereas over here you will be finding portfolio management advisory services. Okay, one more thing, the entire PPTs you have made, I think it is in blue color, right? Through across the, it will be better if you can change in some of the like slides, the change in the colors. Okay, one more thing where I was functions of an here also see.
Yes, so
That things you, such things shouldn't happen here also. See, now you have already mentioned so much of text over here. Okay, in my case, I need to provide you the definitions. So in some of my slides, you will find it there is a lot of text involved. But in your case, you need to explain me that thing. You don't need to write it down over here. Okay, so use minimum number of words and then explain yourself like what is that particular concept, what is the example relevant to it, and how that particular concept is relevant in today's world. Okay, so this has to be the flow of the presentation. Okay, so just make sure that from next time you clear this. And you didn't explain this figure also, like how this transaction is working between lenders and borrowers. Okay, you need to explain the process. Lender is actually seeking out to help those borrowers who are actually looking out for money, but how that money will be getting channelized through direct financing and indirect financing. Now these concepts were not explained in your presentation, correct? What is direct financing? If I ask you, yeah,
Financial market,
well, that's fine. What I'm saying of this, what is direct and indirect financing? We had discussed this in the class. Okay, so if I ask you directly right now, what is direct financing?
through financial market to be invested.
And indirect?
Indirect through intermediaries.
Indirect through intermediaries. Okay, yes. Okay, so you need to explain some of the terms and make sure that the presentation is like, okay. I'll be taking up the questions, I think, in the last only because it will consume then a lot of time. But for every PPT, I will be providing with the feedback. At least that would cover up many aspects. Okay. Okay, fine. The next is IPO. Last, yeah, because your PPT is not there. IPO once, please come up. हाँ 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 क्या हुआ? Okay. Okay, silence, silence. Please. Over. बाद में discuss कर लेना. चलो, yeah, you can start.
So, hi everyone, a very good morning. So today I am gonna start with initial public offer, and she's gonna take you through the concepts of the process. So I'm Simran Sundani. I'm on the leader. So what is actually initial public offer? Do you all know about it?
Yeah, you can respond if anyone knows in the class. You can raise your hand and you can provide any answers. They will be, of course, explaining that.
Yeah. So it's actually an invitation to a public to come and invest into a company. So if you see an initial public offer, referred to as an offering, is a process where company issues shares to the public for the first time, and it's not listed on NSE or BSE or any other platform. So they are often issued by smaller, younger companies seeking capital to expand. They can also be done by large privately owned companies seeking to become publicly traded. So is that clear for you all? So she will explain the process and what's like in the pipeline actually.
Reasons for IPO. IPO. What is the reasons of IPO? That is to raise the funds for financing capital expenditure needs like expansion and diversification. Finance increase working capital needs for debt repayment as an exit route for existing investors like promoter or strategic investors. Listing provides liquidity to the existing shareholders and establish value of the firm. Next one.
You need to explain just a minute, okay? Like what are the examples of diversification? What is expansion? Just give one or two examples, and then because see, you have already same mistakes is being repeated over here. A lot of text is being there, and the concept is written. That is fine, but you need to give examples. Okay? Yeah, go on.
The process, IPO process. What is the process of IPO? The process begins nominating merchant banker or consortium investment bankers represented by one of them known as a book running lead manager. What is book running lead manager? Prepares a draft red herring prospectus and submits it to SEBI for its approval. A red herring prospectus is a one type of document like business and promoter details, capital structure, future business plans, risks and opportunities, and past financial data. The company also hires an authorized IPO grading agency to grade the fundamentals of the issue. The initial public issue open for a certain number of days and the bids are updated with the stock exchange and they are received. पहले initial public offer issue SEBI 3 to 5 days के लिए करते थे, अभी 3 days का मेंटेन किया है उन्होंने, और जो भी लेन-देन जो है
नहीं, no Hindi, strictly no. Exchange, you can say exchange of transaction or exchange of
yes, buying and selling is completed in 3 days. One of the IPO is closed for the public subscription. In case of book building IPO, the company with the help of lead managers and the IPO registers decide the issue price. What is the pricing of this issue? Like valuation of company, what is the issue size, what is the issue price, and how many numbers are shared to be issued, and what is the lot size. Then the register does the fair distribution of the shares and publishes a report in the form of basic allotment documents. What is the distribution of this IPO? Like QIB, that is qualified investors, buyers. It means mutual fund, pensions fund, and its quota is not more than 50%. And next is non-institutional investors. It means its quota is not less than 15%. And retail investors, third one is retail investors, and its quota is not less than 35%. And the allocated shares are now deposited into the demat accounts of the investors and get listed on the designated stock exchanges on the specified IPO listing date. There are two types of IPO, that is fixed price IPO and book building IPO. In fixed price IPO, IPO can be referred as the issue price that one company set an initial sale offer of their shares, and the investors conclude about the price of the stocks of company, decides and make public. It means fixed price is 200, then you can buy or sell, buy or not buy at 200 price is fixed. And book building offering is in the case of book building offering, company initiating an IPO offers 20% price band of the stocks of to the investors, and remaining 80% price shares will remain with the promoter and existing investors. And the interested investor bid on the shares before the final price is decided. Next, it means in book building price, that is the price band is 180 to 200. 180 is the floor price, that is the lowest price referred as the floor price, and highest price referred as the cap price, that is 200 is the cap price. and the maximum difference between the lower price and cap price is 20%. Next slide will be continued to similar.
So recently there was an IPO coming up. It was by Vedant Fashion. So do you know about it? What actually Vedant Fashion is? No. Yes. Yes.
Manyavar brand. Anyone aware? Okay, so that is actually belonging to Vedanta Fashions.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the co-ambassador for Manyavar was Virat Kohli, you all know. So it's a leading Indian brand which is like very famous for the Indian men's wear for weddings and celebrations. So to take you all, I will show you the. So this is the detail about it. Why the IPO was actually issued by the company. It was like it aims to utilize the net profit, net proceed for the following objectives to achieve the benefits of listing the equity shares on the stock exchanges and to carry out the offer for sale of up to 36 crores, 36 crore 3,64,838 equity shares by selling the shareholders. So these are the strengths for the company. So market leader in the Indian celebration wear market, large and growing Indian wedding and celebration wear market, channel of networks, and also it's technologically the supply chain is very strong.
Just a minute, hold on. What is omni-channel network? Omni-channel network of seamlessly integrated business. What is omni-channel? Anyone? Both? Which both? Okay. Which both channels that we are talking about? See, multiple channels through which the company is trying to sell their products. It can be online and offline. Okay, so that is omni-channel first of all. So if you want to buy Manyavar products from online, like such as Flipkart or Amazon or any of their website portals, you will be getting it. If you want to visit the physical stores in the market, then also you will be able to get it. That is omni-channel. Why does company always prefer to have omni-channel? Yeah, so e-commerce is getting developed in the recent times. Okay, people want to have convenience, want to save their time before visiting rather than visiting physical stores, and that is why they are going for omni-channel.
And their supply chain is also very strong. And even if you place for order, you get it within a week. That's like the best one. And then currently the share price is 871.
Okay. What was the issue price?
So the IPO open date was February 4, 2022, and the closing date was February 8. As you know, the window is like And then if we talk about the shares, the market was 17 shares, and the minimum order quantity was also 17 shares. So if we talk about the floor price and the cap price, it was 824 to 866 crores per share.
Just a minute, go back to that slide.
Yeah, the QIBs. So the QIB is like the qualified investment bidders, institutional bidders, and that was like 7.49%.
That was subscription, like 7 times oversubscribed. It got subscribed.
Yeah.
Okay, so what will be happening over there? For like in every 7 people, only 1 will be getting that particular application. Where what was the retail? It was 0.39. What does it show? The retail participation is less, so it will be a short allotment for every bidder over there. Okay, if it is less than 1. Okay, if it is more than 1, then definitely it is going to be like a lottery system. Out of every, like say for example, in the case of QIB, it was 7. Okay, and one more thing which I saw was offer for sale QIB retail. Okay, see, there is one thing mentioned, listing at BSE and NSE. Now it is not always mandatory that every share will be getting at BSE and NSE. It will be depending on the company. Okay, there are few shares even existing today that are only traded on NSE or only traded on BSE. Not necessary that they are available on both the exchanges. Okay. They are the top 30 companies. Not necessary. Not necessary. Face value is 1 rupee per equity share over here. If you can see, right? Offer for sale, issue size. Okay, credit of share. See that basis of allotment on February 11th, which is mentioned. Now basis of allotment will be decided by what is the total subscription? 2 point something, right? So now what will happen over there is on the date of 11th Feb, there will be the who will be actually carrying out that thing process. It will be coming again. Who will be carrying out that process? No lead managers. No. That allocation of those allotted shares and processing the refunds and all those. Processing of refunds is fine, can still be done by IB people, but that allotment was being done by one website portal we had discussed. But who are those? Who are those? Can continue. Okay. But can you okay? Lead managers.
Yeah. Axis Capital, these financial services, ICICI Securities, IIFL Securities, Kotak Mahindra. Next question.
Why LinkedIn time wala kahan gaya? Who are those people? What? No, they are not serious.
If I have got allotted shares, and I can see
that yeah, that is fine. Based on my that registration number, I'm going on that LinkedIn Time website, okay, to check who are whether I'm my shares are getting allocated or not. Okay, whether IPO लगा है कि नहीं लगा है वो देखना है, ठीक है. Registers कभी-कभी होते हैं, कभी नहीं होते. नहीं, no custodians can't be there. Custodians will be who are custodians in the IPO? Custodian, that's fine, but where will be the money stored? There was one account name we had discussed. Escrow account? No deposit account. Escrow account is like a temporary holding account, right? Where your entire money from all the applicants will be stored, and those who are getting allocated, the funds will be transferred to the company, and rest of all of them funds will be getting back transferred to the respective applicants, right? Correct? वो IPO एप्लीकेशन का वो था आपके में कि नहीं था क्वालिफिकेशंस के लिए वो जो स्टेजेस थे 5, तो किसको दिया था वो मैंने IPO का किसी को नहीं दिया था 5 who can be qualified for the IPO वो था ना 5 स्टेज डॉक्यूमेंटेशन रेड हेरिंग प्रोस्पेक्ट क्योंकि यू ऑलरेडी इंक्लूडेड द रेड हेरिंग प्रोस्पेक्टस लेकिन क्वालिफिकेशन वाला वो नहीं इंक्लूड किया है. That should be actually included because that is the first step. Like whether a company is getting eligible for an IPO or not, how will anyone know, right? Okay, so far so good, but still you need to improve the presentation. I think anyone of you are not aware of the smart art feature in PowerPoint. Anyone knows what is a smart art? No? Okay, let me see if I can check over here. Now see, there is one smart art feature. It is not showing over here. Okay, you can use that instead of directly just using the text over here. Say for example, if there is a lot of text being used, say for example, in not in this, I had seen in one other slide. This one. Okay, now you just need to write which are the famous company brands. Okay, now there is no meaning of writing like Vedant Fashions was the largest in India in the men's Indian wedding and celebration wear segment in terms of revenue. What is OPBDIT? You have used the term, but what is that?
Operating profit.
Okay, then before you actually using all such terms, technical terms in the PowerPoint presentation, you should be at least aware. Okay, otherwise मैं directly बोल दूंगा कि इसका मतलब क्या है, तो then there is no meaning of using it. Okay. Second thing, objectives has to be like written in very like a miniature way. Say for example, it is aiming to utilize the net proceeds for the following objectives. Which one? Achieve the benefits of listing the equity shares on the stock exchanges. Now, what are the benefits then? वो objective थोड़ा है.
उनका objective ये था कि उनको list करवाना था.
बस है. Just for the reason of this. Okay. Could be a fancy one. Okay. अच्छा, carry out offer for sale of up to this much shares by to the shareholders आएगा यहाँ पर, not by the selling shareholders. Offer for sale generally क्या होता है पता है, वही चीज which we discussed in the case of like Paytm or any other case where private angel investors or any top investors who have actually invested in the company during the initial stage, they will be actually providing their sale of equity shares. The meaning of the offer for sale of so and so equity shares is that if I am an angel investor in Paytm, I am holding this many amount of shares, then I am liquidating my portion or stake in the company through offer for sale in the process of IPO. Okay, this is what it actually means. Clear? But before now using all such terms, you need to explore what is offer for sale, what is OPB DIT. Okay. Okay, fine. Chalo. मनी मार्केट किसका है? नेक्स्ट टाइम से स्मार्ट आर्ट यूज करना है, ठीक है? पीपीटी में ऐसा टेक्स्ट लिख के बनाना, ठीक है? टेक्स्ट तो यार लाइक वो टेक्स्ट बुक लगेगा फिर स्लाइड्स की जगह.
Hello guys, my name is Ragini. I'm Shakta Komikar and we are going to present you for money market.
कोई पीछे से काम करो ना, आज के जो सेशंस के वो मतलब कोई प्रेजेंट कर रहा है ना, तो इन एवरी ग्रुप जस्ट लाइक एक इमेज क्लिक करके रखना. ओके, हम अपने वो व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप में डाल देंगे फिर, ठीक है? इन बिटवीन DACS क्रॉस 2850. ठीक है, चलो. हाँ, यस.
Money market is basically lending and borrowing of funds for short period. It is a component of financial market as well. Some of the features of money market are there is no physical market as such. It is a over the phone market. There is no physical existence as money market actually in the market. Actually, if there is a market place, there are vendors and physically present, but here there is no physical existence. It is a over the phone market.
Over the counter market it is, not over the phone.
And dealings are done through phones or through electronic platforms. The maturity of the instruments is within the year. It is for very short period. We can also borrow for one day or over the night. It is highly liquid as cash can easily converted, and less risky as the tenure of the instrument is very short period.
Cash can't be converted. That instrument is converted to cash. Cash को तो मतलब कहाँ से convert करोगे?
Some of the major players of money market are RBI. RBI is a central bank of India, and it controls monetary and banking policies of Indian government. And second is government, corporate firms. Corporate firms are basically who provide corporate services to the customers. Financial institutions are institutions which provide financial services like insurance, investment, deposits. Some of the financial institutions are Exim Bank, Export and Import Bank of India, and SIDBI, Small Industrial Development Bank of India. Fifth one is commercial banks. The services provided by commercial banks are basically mainly deposits and lending. It is a core services provided by commercial bank. Examples are SEBI, Dena Bank, HDFC Bank. Next one is the primary dealer. Primary dealer is basically RBI approves some institutions for trading the securities. Some of the examples are Bank of America, Morgan Stanley India, Primary Dealers Limited. Now she will explain further.
structures of Indian market. Indian money market. There are two types in Indian market. One is organized sector and second is unorganized sector. First one in unorganized sector is RBI. RBI, commercial banks and cooperative banks. Under commercial bank, there are two types. There is scheduled bank and non-scheduled bank. Scheduled bank is a what banking company with a paid-up capital of 5 lakhs rupees, and non-scheduled bank is a bank which is unable to comply with the RBI requirements. Under scheduled bank, there are two types: foreign bank, which is foreign bank, and Indian bank. Under Indian bank, there are two types: public and private. Public bank is basically government authorized, and private bank is lending their personal and their personal works. After that, cooperative banks. There are under cooperative banks there are three types: state cooperative banks, district cooperative banks, and primary credit societies.
वो बैक साइड करो पहले.
Pros and cons of money market. There are high interest rate than saving account, then higher yields. There is higher yield than saving account, typically pays higher than standard saving account. Safe investment. It is safe than stock market. Accessibility. Money markets maybe provide ATMs or electronic transfers. Okay. Cons are low interest rate. It can be low or it can be high. Whenever it can be low interest rates, inflation risk. If there is high inflation, there can be high interest rate, and that could affect us. Limited number of withdrawals. There is limited number. Sometimes there is limited number of withdrawals. Maybe 4, maybe 6. Limited instruments. There are limited instruments. There are limited instruments in money market. Interbank lending. Interbank lending is which bank lend money to each other for some period of time. It is a market which bank extend loan to one another for special term, but not exceed than 1 year. Types of interbank lending. Call money refers to a deposit of unspecified term. It is renewal on the day basis. Lender can call back fund anytime and repaid on same day. Then overnight money. It is usually for one night or one day money. Weekend money. It is money lended for 1 week. Term money, which is term money is that which comes from which is fixed term money, and intraday money is day-to-day transaction between banks.
What is term money?
More than 14 days.
Like for a fixed period, it has to be, not for intraday, 1 day, or okay, anything more than 1 day, it will be termed as term money, right? Can you go to the first slides? We need to see everything, I guess. Okay, one by one. See, hey, okay. We will start with the last slide only. Okay. Now, see, first of all, the purpose of this presentation was that you explain all these concepts orally, not through your hand notes by checking into it, or not through your mobile phones, or by like just cross checking every fact. Okay, it has to be like by heart. Okay, you need to have very clear understanding of like what is call money, what is overnight money, what is weekend money. Okay, and you need to give examples. You are not giving examples, you are just reading out a definition from any of your source and just telling me, okay, this is a particular concept. I already know the concept, but like how in real time also it is working. Okay, so you need to be careful about it. Second thing, don't put, if you are just mentioning in this bullet form, don't put full stop everywhere. Okay, from the presentation perspective, in every like sentence or even in like just smaller you can say phrases or even a single word, full stops are never used in the presentations. Okay, previous slide. Now if you are saying interbank lending and there is only one slide over there, then you need to give example. Which example we have taken for interbank lending? SBI, Bank of India. Okay, are you aware of the concept कि एक दिन में सब कुछ वेपराइज हो गया है? हाँ, क्या था इंटरबैंक लैंडिंग में? When one bank is short of money for lending its customer, then another bank. Okay, we have taken an example of around 1 lakh of rupees that I am sorting out in terms of liquidity. I don't have the cash. My customers are waiting at the branch and I need urgent cash. Now it can be overnight, it can be intraday money. On those basis, you need to explain this particular concept that interbank lending will be a transaction happening between one bank to the another in terms of the money requirement for a given period. And in return, what they will be charging? A particular interest rate. Okay. And again, that will be mentioned in the contract, right? We had already taken one example over there. Okay, previous. It's not con, it's only CONS. ये sweet corn हो जाएगा, ठीक है? And it doesn't include even apostrophe S. It's only straight pros and cons. Okay, no full stops again. You need to explain why it can be higher interest rates, but you need to write there could be a there could be a volatility and fluctuations out there because of which the interest rates can vary. So it can also come into, because you have written higher interest rates as a pros and you have written low interest rates as a cons. Can't be both. It can be either of them. Okay. So generally you need to just mention in place of cons only that if there is high fluctuation or volatility, the interest rates can go down and can't work in the favor of lender. Okay. Higher yields is again the same. Safer investments, that is fine. Accessibility is fine. Inflation risk. How inflation risk is going to matter over here? Can anyone explain? No.
Inflation is high, then interest rate will be high.
Inflation is high.
If you're taking loan for 6 months or 10 months, around it's starting 7% interest. The day by day price, value of money will increase. The actual money value of money will increase because the number of notes will increase. So if you give 10 lakhs rupees loan to any bank, and you're charging 6% interest.
Okay.
But the 10 lakh rupees for 1 year or 6 months, that value will be more than inflation.
That is, you are actually telling me the value of money concept, not value of money. I am saying how inflation is going to have an impact on the interest rates that they are charging. That is the correlation that we are finding out. What is the relationship between inflation rate? Okay, write down this as homework only now. Yes. Inflation risk increases. But inflation increases, then people will find it difficult to borrow the money, right? In the case, I will not borrow the money. Okay, मतलब inflation क्या होता है generally? मतलब every price of your commodity and services are increasing in the market. Now in that case, my purchasing power will go less. I will decide now let the prices come down first. Okay, only then I will buy. As of now, I will be buying a very limited amount of quantities to meet my daily basic needs. This is what inflation is all about. Okay, but for example, if inflation is increasing, now my salary is not increasing. Say for example, it is only at 50,000. My daily household expenditure was initially 20,000, but just because of an increase in inflation, it is now coming down to 30,000. So it will be impacting my like bottom levels or bottom margins every month that I was saving around 20-30,000. But now I am only able to say 15-20,000 because of inflation. Now if I'm going to bank just for the search of like housing loan or even any other like automobiles loan or anything else, if inflation is high, do you think the banking will be having like a higher amount of interest on that? Just a simple thing. It won't have, right? The interest rates has to be go down in that time. Inflation, if it is increasing, what will be the stand of RBI monetary policy? repo rate will be decreased. Repo rate will get decreased so that more money will be coming into the market, more circulation, higher the purchasing power parity. That is the term for that. Okay, just write it down, purchasing power parity. Okay, that is your spending power, how much I am able to spend on my overall goods and services in a given particular time frame. Okay, so you need to explain on all these things when you are specifically mentioning of any examples. Okay, this has to be the flow of presentation. You can't just read out those particular lines over whatever you have written in the presentations. Okay, I think we need to have one more session. I think so far whatever has been done, but I think what is purchasing power parity and how inflation is impacting the interest rates in a given country. You can also write it down. It's fine. Deficiency of? Not getting finance in the market. Finance, yes, the liquid cash will be less. The money circulation that is happening in the market, it will be low. Okay. See, why the money circulation will be low? People are thinking, say for normal example, if you are going to buy some vegetables in the market, okay, you are going to the store. Initially, you were buying of 100 rupees and that was actually satisfying to your household needs on a daily basis. But now what is happening is just because of inflation, आपने न्यूज में पढ़ा होगा कि बहुत सारे प्राइस इंक्रीज हो गए, नॉर्मल सब्जी वगैरह के ये सब हो गया, पेट्रोल का प्राइस हाइक हो गया. Now that is actually impacting what? Your daily budget or your household budget. Okay, if your household budget is now getting impacted, what will you try to make? Your salary is not increasing, that is constant, but you need to make sure that at the end of month I need to have a specific amount of money left with me so that I can at least meet my emergency needs. That has to be your first perspective or objective. Okay, now in that particular scenario, do you think you will be going for a loan or looking out for any new house or new like car, vehicles and something like that? No. Okay, why? Because your ultimate objective is to serve your household first. Only then after your daily and basic needs are being served, you are then actually shifting yourself to your other luxury needs, right? Now at that particular point in time, what will banks think? Your customers ही नहीं आ रहे हमारे पास तो, just because inflation is high. Okay, now we need to bring down the interest rates. Okay, at some particular point, अगर interest rates down हो रहे हैं, only in that particular situation you will be able to decide. Okay, now initially the housing loan was available at 8%, now it is available at 6.75%. Now at least I am able to save 1% of that. 1% of your entire financial particular amount on housing loan for 1 year is how much? Say for example, if you're borrowing 20 lakh of rupees, it's 6% and 88%. The 2% that you are saving on entire 20 lakh of rupees is 2,40,000 or 4 lakh of 1,20,000, correct? So 1,20,000 can be substituted to your household needs then, correct? So that is how this repo policy of this RBI, your interest rate policies, this inflation factor will be, all things will be correlated over there. Okay, so whenever you are talking of interbanking lending rates and all those things, even in money market, I think one major point missed out was if interest rates are increasing, the stock market prices will go down, right? I think we had discussed that particular thing. Yes, they will be withdrawing the money from the market and they will be directly investing into money market instruments which are safer again. Okay, so this is how you need to explain everything. But I think this is the first presentation, so we will be learning a lot many things.
In last class you said about that USA, that's why they are not increasing interest rates on the
their inflation is quite high. Yeah.
That's why if they increase that fixed deposit, they will not
see,
invest in market.
If interest rates are increasing, your money is getting parked at one place. Even in that case also, your spending will go less. Say for example, I was having extra 1 lakh of rupees. Okay, now if I had wished, I could spend on any of the luxury items or my daily household needs, movie देख के आते हैं, खाना खा के आते हैं, whatever things, or any of your household needs. ठीक है, अब लेकिन ऐसा हो रहा है कि नहीं यार, पहले 4% पे मिलता था, अब 6% कर दिया है इंटरेस्ट रेट्स. तो व्हाट विल आई थिंक इसकी यार फ्यूचर में शायद मुझे कुछ जरूरत पड़ेगी. लेट मी पार्क माय फंड्स बिकॉज आई एम गेटिंग 2% एक्स्ट्रा. तो मैं पहले जो 1 लाख ऑफ रुपीज स्पेंड करता था, तो नाउ आउट ऑफ 1 lakh I am at least depositing 30 to 40,000 rupees over there. Now that particular money is already getting deposited into bank. I am not now using that particular money. So even in that case also, the liquid cash is getting limited. जो फ्लो होना चाहिए था मार्केट में वो रिस्ट्रिक्ट हो रहा है ना कहीं ना कहीं. ठीक है, तो व्हाट विल हैपन इन दैट केस? हाँ, नो नो नो, वो तो इम्पैक्ट पहले आ गया है, इंक्रीज हो गया है ऑलरेडी, सो ओनली यू आर पार्किंग योर फंड्स, डिक्रीज नहीं होना चाहिए उस टाइम पे। व्हाट विल हैपन, फिर इन्फ्लेशन बढ़ेगा कि कम होगा उस टाइम पे? हाँ बढ़ेगा, रीजंस दो, बढ़ेगा कम होगा, बढ़ेगा कम होगा वो तो मुझे भी पता है, दोनों में से एक ही होगा। हाँ
कैश कम होगा तो इन्फ्लेशन बढ़ेगा।
कैश इज लेस, तो वो तो आरबीआई पॉलिसी होगा। हाँ इस केस में इन्फ्लेशन कम होगा। हाँ आरबीआई के पास वो रिवर्स में जा रहा है, ठीक है, तो रिजर्व रेशियो वैसे बढ़ रहा है उनका, ठीक है, तो टू मीट द लिक्विडिटी रिक्वायरमेंट्स नाउ दे आर ऑलरेडी हैविंग इनफ मनी, ओके, बट जब मनी मार्केट में नहीं था तो आरबीआई ने रेपो रेट कम किया था, so that benefit will get transferred. So you must have heard that EMIs on housing loans are getting decreased in the case when repo rate is getting decreased. ये सुना है कहीं पे फाइनेंशियल बजट या आरबीआई पॉलिसी के अनाउंसमेंट्स में? फ्रॉम नाउ ऑनवर्ड्स मेक श्योर ऑफ एटलीस्ट लिसनिंग टू दिस आरबीआई पॉलिसी एवरी टाइम, ठीक है, रेपो रेट बढ़ा रहे कम कर रहे, दैट एंटायर स्पीच ऑफ द गवर्नर इज वेरी मच इंपॉर्टेंट, ओके, सो कीप अ हैबिट ऑफ एटलीस्ट, वो शायद आधे घंटे का ही रहता है, कुछ ज्यादा लंबा नहीं है, बट ही विल बी एक्सप्लेनिंग many of the financial factors both on domestic basis as well as on international basis, कि कहाँ पे पैसा से मतलब आ रहा है और जा रहा है, ठीक है, गवर्नमेंट का पैसा विल बी कमिंग फ्रॉम सर्टेन सोर्सेज, कौन कौन से सोर्सेज हो सकते हैं? इनफ्लोज ऑफ गवर्नमेंट सोर्सेज क्या होगा, पैसा कहाँ से आएगा गवर्नमेंट के पास? टैक्स, वन ऑफ द मेजर कंपोनेंट, और तो कोई चीज है नहीं उनके पास, ठीक है, दैट इज व्हाई वन ऑफ द मेजर थिंग्स जीएसटी वाज इंट्रोड्यूस्ड, ठीक है, और जाएगा कहाँ पे? Outflows of money for the government, development projects, schemes, subsidies, everything, okay, anything else? Advertising तो वो तो यार इन्वेस्ट, that's not agriculture, हाँ वही subsidies, that is what I said, यहाँ subsidies on the fertilizers and that they are giving, वो कहाँ से आएगा? हाँ तो उसके रिलेटेड राइट 4 डेफिनेशंस और उसका होमवर्क आपको करना है, ठीक है, दैट आर ऑल रिलेटेड टू फाइनेंस, आपको शायद फाइनेंस का वो बेसिक अभी नहीं है। हाँ क्वेश्चंस आर एक्सप्लोर द डेफिनेशंस ऑफ बजट डेफिसिट, बजट सरप्लस, फिस्कल डेफिसिट, क्यों, गवर्नमेंट एक्सपेंडिचर, एंड इम्पैक्ट ऑफ इन्फ्लेशन, वो वाला तो क्वेश्चन लिख लिया ना सबने, इम्पैक्ट ऑफ इन्फ्लेशन ऑन इंटरेस्ट रेट्स, इफ इन्फ्लेशन इज राइजिंग तो इंटरेस्ट रेट्स पे क्या असर आता है, इफ इन्फ्लेशन इज डिक्रीजिंग तो उसका इम्पैक्ट क्या असर आता है, ठीक है। मनी फ्लो, मनी फ्लो नहीं, सक्स नहीं करेगा, इन्फ्लेशन बढ़ गया है, हाँ तो वो इट विल बी यस टेकिंग इट आउट मनी, यस बैक, या हाँ तो इट विल बी कंट्रोलिंग योर स्पेंडिंग इन वन और द अदर वे, अगर स्पेंडिंग कम हो रहा है दैट मींस माय डिमांड विल बी डिक्रीजिंग, से फॉर एग्जांपल पहले मैं मतलब आई वाज विजिटिंग लाइक डीमार्ट, ओके, I was spending around 2,000 of rupees on my household expenditure, but now just because of inflation is increased, what I am doing is okay, now let me spend only 1,000 rupees, okay, so demand of rest of the products will go down. Now when demand is going down, the prices of those particular products has to go down, okay, डिमांड कम होगा तो प्राइस उसको कम करना पड़ेगा ना, तो ही शायद उनका कोई प्रोडक्ट खरीदेगा, अदरवाइज दे विल बी जस्ट लाइक केप्ट ऑन द शेल्व्स ऑफ द डीमार्ट एंड अदर स्टोर्स। गेटिंग इट की समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है? उस टाइम पे आरबीआई विल इंक्रीजिंग द रेट्स, यस, उसको इंक्रीज करना पड़ेगा टू टेक द मनी आउट ऑफ द मार्केट, यस, और जब मनी लाना है मार्केट में दे विल बी डिक्रीजिंग, यस, इट विल जनरली हैपन व्हेन ड्यूरिंग द फेस्टिवल सीजंस मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम्स, तो उस टाइम पे ज्यादातर रेपो रेट कम होता है, बट अभी तो काफी टाइम से ऐसी चीजें हो गई कि या तो कांस्टेंट रहता है या तो फिर मतलब 0.25 बेसिस उधर या 0.25 बेसिस उधर, नथिंग मोर देन दैट, ठीक है। यू आर गेटिंग, कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा है शायद, मुझे ये लग रहा है। व्हाट इज द बैकग्राउंड? इंजीनियरिंग और फाइनेंस का कुछ भी आइडिया नहीं है, तो ये टर्म्स तो मतलब ऊपर से ही जा रहा होगा। हाँ, दैट इज व्हाई आई एम आस्किंग कि अगर मैं इम्पैक्ट पूछ रहा हूँ मनी मार्केट तो फिर बहुत दूर की बात हो जाएगी आपके लिए, क्योंकि whenever you are not aware of such terms, inflation, rate of interest, okay, तो मनी मार्केट इज समथिंग दैट इज एवरीथिंग कोरिलेटेड ओवर हियर। ठीक है, मनी मार्केट हम ऐसे मतलब समझ लेंगे कि ठीक है 5 इंस्ट्रूमेंट से एक बैंक दे रहा है, एक दूसरा कोई बड़ी कंपनी दे रही है, एंड इन वन और द अदर वे दे आर ओनली ट्रांजैक्टिंग थिंग। लेकिन वो कब देगा और कितने प्राइस पे देगा, तो फॉर दोज पर्टिकुलर नॉलेज यू नीड टू हैव द awareness of all these factors. Okay, every time inflation will be coming into picture, every time RBI policy will be coming into picture, and even the bond and the yield rates of the US market will be coming into picture. Okay, why? Because if वहां पे कुछ होता है तो यहाँ पे उनके FII के इन्वेस्टर्स जो होंगे they will be directly withdrawing their funds from our market, जो अभी हो रहा है। ठीक है, तो because of which our stock prices will go down। ठीक है, स्टॉक प्राइसेस जैसे ही डाउन होगा तो द रेस्ट ऑफ द थिंग बाकी जगह पे भी उसका इम्पैक्ट आएगा ओवरऑल फाइनेंशियल सिस्टम पे। ठीक है, वो इसीलिए बजट डेफिसिट बजट सरप्लस वाला चीज है, विल बी डिस्कसिंग इन द नेक्स्ट लेक्चर। बट अभी के लिए वो थोड़ा एक्सप्लोर करके रखो कि वो चीजें क्या होती है और वो बजट में क्या रोल प्ले करती है। ठीक है, अवर्स इज अ बजट डेफिसिट और सरप्लस वन क्या रहता है अपना? हाँ, बजट अपना डेफिसिट में रहता है या सरप्लस में रहता है? डेफिसिट। ओके, सरप्लस वाले कोई एग्जांपल्स? एनी नेशन दैट इज हैविंग अ बजट सरप्लस? यूएस यूएस था लेकिन अभी लग्जमबर्ग। आइडेंटिफाई 5 नेशंस, आइडेंटिफाई 5 नेशंस, वो गैसिंग वर्क नहीं करना है भाई, बाद में करेंगे। आइडेंटिफाई 5 नेशंस दैट आर हैविंग बजट सरप्लस। ओके, और कोई अच्छे नाम लेके आना, मतलब वो मिडल ईस्ट के या साउथ अफ्रीका के कुछ, मतलब एक छोटा सा कंट्री है माल्टा वाल्टा करके, ठीक है, इसका बजट सरप्लस में है तो उसका रहेगा ही, पॉपुलेशन ही नहीं होगा उतना कि उतना खर्च करना पड़ रहा है उनको। You need to actually go through all these terms, वरना it will be very much difficult for you, I think so. Okay, you need to keep bug up with every all these topics. ठीक है, तो और एक आध दो आर्टिकल या पढ़ने का रखो बेसिक फंडामेंटल्स के लिए भी। और इफ कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा है प्लीज वॉच दोज वीडियोस ऑफ रचना रनाडे, शी इज वेरी गुड इन दैट। बहुत बेसिक और एलिमेंट्री लेवल पे समझाया हुआ इसने बेसिक्स। ठीक है, वो चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर दो, यूट्यूब तो वैसे भी फ्री है उसका। ठीक है, और आईपीओ की भी या स्टॉक के भी वो सजेशन देगी बीच में। क्लियर, स्टार्ट करते हैं इसको। Next time, whenever you write anything in the slides, please explain in detail, not just one line, not just one or two sentences. Example should be there, okay? कि कैसे वर्कआउट होता है पूरा इसका, and then correlate it with the practical scenarios. ठीक है, otherwise क्या होगा वो पता ही नहीं चलेगा आपको कंसेप्ट इंटरबैंक लेंडिंग में हो क्या रहा है। ठीक है, टर्म्स कंडीशंस क्या रहेगी, कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में कौन कौन सी चीजें एंटर होगी, वो भी शायद आप लोगों ने डिस्कस नहीं किया था। ठीक है, तो यू नीड टू एक्सप्लेन एवरीथिंग इन डिटेल। ये किसका था टॉपिक, आप दोनों का था ना? रागिनी एंड श्रद्धा। और किसी ने लिया है क्या फोटोज इमेजेस से इन लोगों का प्रेजेंटेशन का? अच्छा, तो बाद में वो ग्रुप में डाल देना। ठीक है, इट विल बी बेटर देन। इनका हो गया ग्रुप का, तो फिर आई विल बी क्लोजिंग इट डाउन। इनका एक फोटो इमेज डाला लिया है तो ये टाइटल स्लाइड के साथ ही ले लो इनका। तो दोनों का एक बार ले लो। ठीक है, देन आई विल बी क्लोजिंग दिस पीपीटी। बाकी आगे के जो रह गए थे उनका भी ले लेंगे। You can come just stand over there and just have a tea. आ जाओ भाई, 2 मिनट ही लगेंगे। हाँ यस, इंस्टा पे रील बनाएंगे फिर चल। वही चीज आजकल आती है ना हम लोगों को, और कुछ तो करते नहीं है। हाँ, कॉन्फिडेंस बहुत लैकिंग है सभी लोगों का। वो आपका कोई हुआ है क्या वो लेक्चरिंग का, कम्युनिकेशन स्टाइल नहीं हुआ है ना? हाँ इसलिए। या डन, ओके चलो, थैंक यू। ओके चलो, now who's next? Participants of financial market किसका था? इनका एक फोटो पहले खींच लो ना, सो दैट वो मिस्टेक रिपीट ना हो। Done? Okay, चलो start.
Hello everyone, my name is Shubham. My name is Bhunesh Bagale.
Little bit louder. Okay.
Today we are giving presentation on participants in financial markets.
मुझे नहीं, इनको देना है.
Yes. So the participants in financial markets are issuers, investors, regulators, custodians, broker dealers, depositories, and clearing agents. First is issuer. Issuer is a legal entity that develops, registers, and sells security for its finance operation.
Just a minute. उसका मीनिंग क्या हुआ ये बताओ.
Issuer मतलब सर कंपनी जो अपना शेयर तैयार करके मार्केट में
क्या तैयार करती है? You mentioned that an issuer is a legal entity that is developing, registering and selling securities to finance their operations. ठीक है, तो क्या डेवलप करती है? Securities. Okay. हाँ, फिर किसको for the purpose of किस चीज के लिए करेगी? To raise the capital. Okay. हाँ, continue.
Issuers may be private corporation, investment trust, or organized government. There are some responsibilities of the issuers, which is the reporting of financial conditions and associated developments. Second is the investor who puts money to buy securities for profitable return. Investor can be individual or institutional investor. The main goal of any investor is to maximize the profit and minimize the risk of loss. Many investors believe in the passive strategy, which is a buy and hold strategy.
Who are institutional investors? Examples? Institutional investors examples? हाँ?
Banks.
बाकी लोगों को बोले तो अभी 3-4 लोगों को बहुत पता है, बाकी कोई बोल ही नहीं रहा है. Examples? Institutional investors. हाँ, institutional investor examples. हाँ हाँ yes. मर्चेंट बैंक का नहीं आएगा यहाँ पे. नहीं, गवर्नमेंट भी नहीं आएगा. मतलब म्यूचुअल हेज फंड नहीं रहता है, म्यूचुअल फंड रहता है. हाँ, और म्यूचुअल फंड के अलावा
इंश्योरेंस कंपनी
टू अ सर्टेन एक्सटेंट. हाँ, फिर HUF will be coming into individual only. It won't count into institutional investor. What is HUF? फुल फॉर्म नहीं, मतलब क्या होता है?
अच्छा, ग्रुप ऑफ पीपल, मतलब वो मेल और each term वर्क करता है इसलिए who decides the main decision about the business.
So HUF is basically like one entity only, but will be a combination or a comprising of all the members of the family, and one will be provided with the decision making power related to either investing in the stock market, investing into debt instruments, running business operations and everything. Okay. And he's the karta only. He himself is the karta. Yeah, he's liable for everything. Yeah. So tell me one thing, whether if I am having my Demat account with any of the broker, okay, can I also have an HUF account in my name? Say for example, if Siddharth is written in my like brokerage account, okay, I am already having a brokerage account with Zerodha. Now I am also opening another account सिद्धार्थ ब्रैकेट में HUF होगा, ठीक है, and that will be like registered with 0 double. Is it possible or not? Is it possible, right? Yes, I am a separate entity over there. Okay, I am not a single individual. I am a separate entity who will be taking decisions on regard of whosoever members are registered in that HUF. Okay, so yes, examples of this institutional investors: mutual fund, insurance companies, and commercial banks. To yes, और सबसे बड़ा
pension funds.
अब फंड बहुत हो गए, उसके अलावा कौन आएगा? फंड वाले तो है ही. Foreign institutional investors. Okay, those are the major entities who will be investing over here. Any example which I think I had given the homework, right? Mutual funds of US or FIIs of US. कौन सा? FIIs of US. Yes, हाँ वो दिया था होमवर्क मेरे ख्याल से. वो नहीं किया क्या? अच्छा कल वाला है. अच्छा चलो थोड़ा बहुत एक्सप्लोर करके रखो ये सब चीजें. हाँ ये कंटिन्यू.
Third is the regulator. Regulator is a financial institution which is responsible for supervision. Regulator maintains certain restrictions and guidelines to maintain the integrity in the financial system. These may be government or non-government organizations. Regulator maintains confidence in the financial system. Also, they participate in the reduction of financial crime. The financial regulators for India, for banks, Reserve Bank of India, and for market, Security and Exchange Board of India.
Okay.
Hello. Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone. My name is Kumar Patele, and today our topic is participants of financial market, and some of points explained by Subham, and I am explaining the this slide depository. So depositories means it holds the electronic. It holds the in the form of electronic, and it is the legal owner of financial security. And there are two examples. There are two companies in India, NSDL and CDSL. And Arnav has explained the NSDL is associated with NSC, and CDSL is associated with PSC. And this is the depository is a specialized financial organization that holds securities such as shares, either shares, debentures, and mutual fund, either in the certified or uncertified. The goal is it is transfer of ownership through book entry rather than transfer of physical certificate. And then third is the cleaning and settlement is usually done electronically, making it much faster and easier.
But you need to explain like how those things are taking place. Okay, so say for example, if you are mentioning the goal is easy transfer of ownership through book entry. Okay, and then you are mentioning that rather than of like transfer of physical certificate. Okay, so you need to mention that earlier there used to be physical deliveries of like certificates to every like shareholder. Okay, but today with the help of this new digital technologies, we are having physical electronic copies of the shares that we are holding. Okay, and why? Because it will allow us to have a faster and easier transaction. Okay, so instead of just looking at the slides, you can directly stay in front of the class and then provide your presentation. Okay, you need to at least like aware like what are depositories, what they are actually doing. Okay.
So this is the diagram of financial industry, and this is the flip point of brokers and dealers, and this is the diagram of financial industry. First is regulatory bodies. Regulatory bodies means these are the bodies SEBI, Stock Exchange, Security Exchange Board of India, and the US regulatory bodies is Security Exchange Commission.
SEC.
SEC. So these bodies appoint the exchange, stock exchange company, BSE.
Appoint थोड़ी करेगा वो. They are monitoring those exchanges.
So this regulatory bodies monitoring the exchanges, BSE, NSE, NYSE, and then broker and dealers means it is the catalyst transactions, and this is the silent player in the market, and it is not broker and dealer. It is not be fraudulent against the transaction, I think.
Meaning?
Broker and dealers ये मतलब फ्रॉड नहीं करते.
कार्वी का एग्जांपल है हमारे पास.
This thing I learned from.
That is तो फिर थोड़ा वही रिसर्च करको कि कोई है ऐसा कि who has actually done fraud, okay, through such securities. Not just Karvi, there are many brokers who have done frauds, not just one. Okay. And what is a catalyst transaction? It is not a catalyst transaction. He actually works as a catalyst in the transaction. Okay. So what is a catalyst? Chemistry person,
The process of the reaction.
हाँ, थोड़ा boost करता है वो complete करने में, ठीक है. So what actually we will be doing is to make the transaction easier between the exchange and the individual investor or whosoever the companies are transacting. He will be playing a key role over there. He's more of like an intermediary.
And 6 point is clearing agent and custodian. Clearing agent means clearing agent is the financial institutions that provide clearing and settlement services for financial commodities transactions. So clearing agent means the individual or company obviously gets the goods from one country to another.
Okay.
मतलब जो clearing agent रहता है वो gets the goods officially from one country to another.
No.
So, I have one example. I learned from the.
Okay. Share it.
Then if seller in the market, he wants to sell his securities in the market against the cash, and other side stands the buyer, and he is willing to pay the security at a quoted price. So this is, I think this is the clearing agent.
Okay. Custodian?
Custodian means the safeguarding of securities. Custodian lines are often referred to as global custodian as they safeguard assets for their clients in multiple jurisdictions around the world, and it is the responsible for security assets of clients, and also responsible for the rules and regulations instructions issued by SEBI. Last one is assets held in such a manner and typically owned by larger institutional firms. Thank you.
Okay, see, custodian, what he will be doing is he will be actually carrying out the settlement of the shares. Okay. Whatever shares you have bought, for example, from any of the broker, now that needs to be get deposited into my Demat account. Okay. Now it takes a time frame of 3 days generally in our exchanges. On say for example, if today I had bought those shares of BSC, they will be settled in my account in a time frame of T plus 2 days. T is the current day. After 2 days, that is the, so when it will be getting settled, if today is Friday, then when those shares will be coming into my account? No, Saturday, Sunday are not working. Yeah. Okay. So only after those shares are coming into Wednesday, okay, I will be able to sell those shares again to any other entity. I will be only able to sell it today if I am carrying out my intraday transactions the way I did in the morning. Okay. But if you are having a positional thing, then those shares need to be present in your account. Then this clearing agent will ensure that your shares have been deposited in your account. It's more of like similar to that of IPO thing. Okay. The amount needs to be get deducted and the shares need to get deposited in your account. Okay. So from the fund balance that you are holding in your brokerage account, say if I was holding 50,000 of rupees, I bought 20,000 worth shares over there. 20,000 rupees will be getting debited over there, and the rest of the shares will be getting credited into my account. Okay, now that is the role of that clearing agent. But today most of the brokers only are performing that role over in this entire process. Okay.
What interest proposed is actually going?
No. It was proposed actually, but still it is not existing in the market.
Settlement is T plus 2 days.
Yeah, settlement is
like before. Suppose someone is purchased security today and he is withdrawing. Suppose he is selling that security tomorrow. So that is big.
Yeah, that is BTST.
So
But
the person
more of
will-
like, yeah, but what actually happens in that particular system is the shares are still not in your demat account. Okay, it is being actually into the depository account of the broker or something like that. Okay, who is actually holding it. So you can actually place the order. It's not necessary that it needs to be in your account, but since your amount is being debited, amount gets debited instantly, right? Only the shares are getting settled after 2 days. So even in Zerodha, if anyone is having, you whenever you are buying any shares, just check your account. There will be like T written over there besides the stocks, and against the column of the shares that are held, it will be 0. But that settled thing will be mentioned over there in very small that particular font size, that number of shares that you are holding. Okay. So what actually happens is only after proper settlement you will be getting those particular shares. And some of the stocks you might have heard are into this P category segment. Anyone have heard of that? Okay, write a homework in that case. Okay, yeah, you can go. Oops. What are the stocks mentioned in the T category segment? And explain the reason why they are classified into T category segment. Done. Preference shares किसके? इसके बाद रोल ऑफ रेगुलेटरी एजेंसीज आपका है, आप दोनों का। हाँ हाँ, इसके बाद इनका आईबी वाला और रेगुलेटरी हो जाए और उसके बाद आपका रह लेना चाहिए ऑनलाइन वाला।
Hello guys, I am Shubham Tirke and Vinay Dikakar. We are going to explain to you what is actually preference shares are. So,
हो गया? एक मिनट में फोटो।
I will be explaining in the first slide. So, what is the So preference shares is actually share.
A little bit louder. थोड़ा louder.
Which enables shareholder to receive dividends announced by the company before the equity shareholder. So they got preference over the common shareholder. And the preference share provides shareholders with the special rights to claim dividends during the capital in case of the winding of the company. So basically what happens is, so preference shares are those shares, so they carry the preferential rights in terms of the payment of the dividend and the winding of the company. So repayment of the winding of the company. So it represents the characteristics of the considered as a hybrid security. It represent the characteristics of the debt and the equity. So next slide. So next slide will be kind of much more things. So we will both on the slide. These are the types of preference shares: cumulative, non-cumulative, participating, non-participating, convertible, non-convertible, redeemable, non-redeemable. So we are going to explain what these are. So Vinay will take from here.
Cumulative preference share. The cumulative preference share are those who have right to dividend even if there is no profit and has to pay dividend before equity shareholder. And this example. Suppose company A issues preference share of ₹100,000 at interest rate of 10. So in first year it is doing good business, and so the company is paying dividend in full of ₹100. But in second year, because of some problems, they are not doing pretty well. So they are paying half dividend, which in second year it is ₹50. So in third year, because of some economic problems, the company is making loss. So they didn't pay any dividend. In fourth year as well, the company is not performing well, and so they are not able to pay dividend. But in fifth year, because they bounce back and are able to make profit, but so in this year they have to pay dividend for these ₹50 as well as 100 and 100. So in total, they have to pay dividend of ₹250 plus the dividend which is issued in this year of 100. So in total, they have to pay a dividend of ₹350. This
50 का second year का है.
मतलब half payment किया क्योंकि कंपनी का profit मतलब company didn't make good profit, so they paid half dividend of ₹50. So remaining 50 they carry forward.
But then you need to write that. See, what have you written over? Right to dividend, even if there is no profit, and has to pay the dividend before paying equity shareholders. It's actually more like a cumulative one. So it's not necessary that whether even if there is no profit, it's not like you need to mention about that thing. But they need to write. You need to write is if the company is unable to pay dividends for the year, say for example 2012, 2013, then in 2014 they need to pay dividends of 2012 and 13. Yeah.
And non-cumulative preference share, no right for a dividend when the company doesn't make any profit. Therefore, no arrears carry forward or subsequent year. We can take the same example. Here, in first year, the company paid dividend of 100. In second year, they paid 50 and didn't pay 50 remaining. In third and fourth year, they were not able to pay. But in fifth year, in non-cumulative preference share, the company will only pay dividend of ₹100 because they are only liable to pay that. Now, redeemable preference share, they can be repaid and redeemed after a given time period, are permitted in nature until the liquidation of the company. I have example, but it's kind of confusing.
You can write it.
So company issued a preference share and gave a call that they will buy back the share at ₹150. So now the share is trading in market and it is current market price of the share is 180. So in this case, the company will redeem the share and buy the share at rupees 150, and similarly, if the stock is trading at 120, which is below the call price, then the company will directly buy share from market and from directly or
see, they can be repaid or redeemed after a given time period. Okay. So say for example, initially the price was 100. Okay. Only then I am in a position to buy a preference redeemable shares. Otherwise, why would I buy a share which is already trading at 180 and now I am asked to pay that amount of 150, correct? So first of all, the price has to be always higher because it is a future date and in future they are expecting the price will be high. Okay. Now when will be the entire contract will be valid? Until the liquidation of the company. Okay. So in one way, I am actually already making a fixed profit. Say for example, the current market price is rupees 120, but in future they are already agreed upon to pay me the price of 150, irrespective the company performs or not. Now there can be two scenarios over here. Either it can go to 180 or it can go to 120. In either of the scenario, I will be paid only rupees 150. Okay.
So non-redeemable preference share, they cannot be redeemed until the company becomes advisable to invest in other options than non-redeemable share. In India, company cannot issue non-redeemable share as per the Companies Act 2013, and redeemable share can only be valid up to 20 years. They have to be redeemed before 20 years. They can go above 20. So next.
So convertible shares. So convertible shares are those shares that can be converted. So preference shares that can be converted into the equity shares. And what is non-convertible shares? So non-convertible shares cannot be converted in the equity shares. So why they do that? So equity has a voting rights along with it. So if company wants to dilute its voting rights, so
no, not for voting rights. Why will anyone convert their debt portion into equity or like preference shares into equity?
The company is not able to pay that more and more.
Wait. Why will it will convert? फंड तो ऑलरेडी है ना, फंड्स आर ऑलरेडी देयर. प्रेफरेंस शेयर्स से तो फंड तो लिया है हम लोगों ने. हर किसी का जवाब फंड नहीं होगा. फंड चाहिए तो नो.
If the company is unable to pay,
unable to pay that portion amount, what will company say? Now I am not in a position to repay your finance. So instead of that, what I am doing is I am converting your preference shares into equity. Okay. So now you can be a stakeholder in my company. You can take the decisions. You all have the voting rights. You have the power to take any of these things. Correct?
So participating shares, these shareholders are eligible for participating in the dividend of surplus profit when there is a liquidation along with the equity shareholders. So suppose, for example, what is participating shares? For example, equity shareholders are getting the 10 rupees per dividend, and the preference shareholders getting 5 rupees per dividend. So they have right to claim the 15 rupees per dividend. So they are entitled to receive the 15 rupees dividend. So what is non-participating share? Non-participating preference share. So non-participating shareholders do not have any right to the payment of the additional payment made. So whatever the fixed dividend is paid out, so that they are entitled to. So basically, why company issue preferential shares? So this is the main question. Why they issue? Why they have to issue the preferential share? So they issue the preferential share to. So in equity, what happens is they dilute the. So in equity, they dilute the voting rights of the company, and in preferential share, they don't have to dilute the voting rights. So they raise the capital, and they don't have to give the voting rights to the shareholders. So we may be taking over from here.
What are the difference between equity share and preference share? Dividend depend upon profit, but the company decide if they want to pay dividend or not. If the company decide it does not want to pay dividend, then the shareholders will not receive any dividend. In preference share, they can carry a fixed rate of dividend, but only cumulative preference share holders will get dividend continuously. Other shareholders, if the company is not performing well, they will not get any dividends. They carry voting rights in managerial decision, expansion of the business, equity shareholder, or if they want to introduce new products, anything like that, they will have the voting rights. In preference share, they don't have voting rights. They only have voting rights when it benefits themselves. If at the time of surplus, they can vote if they want. If the company decide to give them dividends, they can decide at what percent dividend they can get. Dividend is paid after the payment of preference shareholders. Preference shareholders will get payment before the common shareholders.
So what are the benefits and drawbacks of having the preferential share? So benefits, helpful in long-term capital for the company, have first claim on the profits, so they have the first right over the common shareholders, or they got preferred. So proceeds from the sale of the company asset, times of the bankruptcy, have fixed rate of dividend for the fixed number of years. So in the fixed number of years, they get the fixed number of specified dividend, guaranteed dividend. Guaranteed rate of return is there. So what is the drawback? Not traded in the market like ordinary shares. They are not traded in the stock exchanges like NSE, BSE. So not available to retail investors. So these are not available to retail investors. So only specific people are entitled to it. So not advantageous to investors from the point of view of control and management. So the people are thinking, so I want to control, I want to take part in the control and management of the company. So these shares are not preferable for them. So cost of raising a preference share capital is higher. So the cost of raising the preference share is higher as compared to the equity shares. We will be both explaining these slides. When I will take over.
What happens if you own a preference share and the company goes bankrupt? During when this happens, the company preference shareholder will have first right to get dividend or the money back over equity shareholders.
So whatever the agreement is decided at the time of the means when the preference shares given to the shareholders. So whatever the agreement they are entitled to. So that agreement, whatever the mention in the agreement, as per the agreement, they will get the rights over the asset of the company. So however, preference shares will be generally has a lower priority than
corporate bonds, debenture, and other things.
And this is the last slide. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, any questions in that?
Any questions?
At least ask one question. मैं पूछा करूँगा तो फिर it will be like yeah process preference shares की हाँ भाई process क्या होगी preference shares?
So specific people are entitled to the preference share. So company go with the first day come with the some process like they will mention on their website we are going to issue the preference share. So whatever the participants are interested, so they will apply for the preference share. So there is not
they can go to the website, it's company website, they will show there if the company is allotting preference share or not.
So it is a physical, it is a over the counter. So it is not traded in the stock exchanges like. So it is over the counter. It is physical paper. Whatever you are dealing with. So whatever the person are going to deal with that company, so that person have to deal with the paperwork, and it is over the counter. So it is not the stock exchange traded.
So basically what will happen is there will be first of all an advertisement coming up in the newspapers or any financial journals or any even financial websites. Okay, this company is actually going to raise this much amount of capital against this much amount of preference shares. Okay, so the objective was clear. The same way the process of IPO is taking place in a similar way, but not through like on stock exchanges or something like that. Now, whosoever wants to have that particular preference shares, he will be actually connecting with the company either through portal or through emails or through like contact information that will be provided by the company on their website. See, there will be two ways over here. The first way will be, say for example, if they wanted to raise 1 crore amount through preference shares. Now, if only an amount of 70 to 80 lakhs is being actually gathered through the people who have actually asked for it, वही bidding process रहेगा वहाँ पे, ठीक है? So what will happen is the company will be telling you, okay, all the investors will be getting the preference shares. But in the case where the amount is more than 1 CR is being applied by different investors, the same ballot system or there could be a lottery system being designed by the company wherein they will be saying, okay, against this much particular allocation in the ratio of, or like out of every 2 people, out of every 3 people, 1 will be allocated a preference share. Okay. Or in case that could be other way also. Okay, you have applied for 10 shares, but I will be only be able to provide you 7 shares or even 5 shares, depending on the entire participation of the investors. Okay. So you can check one prospectus on the website of any such companies. Okay. एक बार एक prospectus वो check कर लो कि उन्होंने पूरा वो design में वहाँ पे लिखा होगा documentation में कि हमने इस प्रकार से process को design किया. Every company will be having their own process for listing the preference shares. Okay. बहुत कम होते हैं, वही तो I am saying. Why? Because why preference shares are getting listed less और ज्यादा तो participation भी कम रहता है उसमें. इसको किसी को fixed amount of interest नहीं चाहिए ना. Why? Why will prefer not capital competition? हाँ, yes. कल वो टांडा वाला देखा था ना एग्जांपल. Why will then prefer 15%, 10% या जो भी है. डिविडेंड में किसी को इंटरेस्ट नहीं है ना आज. Specifically, our generation will not take any interest. Okay. हाँ. आपका ही ना? आपका काम है आज. पीछे बैठे हो यहाँ से फर्स्ट बेंच से, तो कुछ तो काम करोगे ना. या एक मिनट हो गया. Yes, you can start.
Good morning, everyone. This is Shreya Putputia over here, and this is my friend Samiksha Khandalkar over here. And today we are here to present the topic roles of regulators and investment banking. So, what is
वो एरो किसे हो जाएगा?
So, what is a regulatory body? A regulatory body is a government authority that overlooks and ensures the smooth functioning of the financial sectors. What are the basic financial sector, major financial sectors in India? Banking, insurance, capital market, commodity market, pension fund. Regulators.
See, that is the logo of PRDA and IRDA. Yeah? What is the full form? एक सेकंड. हाँ, किसको? हाँ, yes. PRDA, हाँ, yes. PRDA का full form? PFRDA, पेंशन फंड है ना? PFRDA. हाँ, क्या है? अभी तो 3 बार तो क्लास में डिस्कशन हो गया. हाँ, पेंशन फंड रेगुलेटरी डेवलपमेंट अथॉरिटी. और IRDA का ठीक है, तो पूरा होमवर्क करो भाई. ऐसे ही मतलब करोगे तो नहीं चलेगा काम.
Why do we need regulators? We need regulators to ensure smooth functioning of the financial system and to safeguard the interest of the depositors and savers. The first financial regulatory body that we are going to go through is RBI. It was established in 1935. It was established in the British Raj. The current governor of RBI is Shaktikanta Das. RBI is the central bank of the country. It regulates commercial banks and NBFC, non-banking financial companies, which are investment banks and insurance companies. The functions of the RBI is to print and circulate currency throughout the country, which the RBI does by RBI can print currency by against the securities like gold, against the securities that they keep as reserve, which is minimum reserve system. That RBI needs to keep a 200 crores of reserve with it. That is in the form of gold and foreign reserves, I guess.
Foreign exchange.
Foreign exchange.
कहाँ पे रखेगा वो रिजर्व? हाँ, कहाँ पे रखेगा? Told the name. कहाँ पे रखेगा? RBI कहाँ पे रखेगा? हाँ, यस, कहाँ पे? आप तीनों को है ना, कल से वो फर्स्ट पेज पे बैठते हैं अब तो। हाँ, कहाँ पे रखेगा? नहीं पता है? RBI फंड कहाँ पे पार्क करेगा? पता है? हाँ, वोल्ट में डाल देगा। वोल्ट नहीं होता है, कितना डालेगा इतना पता है? वो रिजर्व कितना बोला? 200 करोड़, मतलब इन टर्म्स ऑफ कैश एंड गोल्ड कितना वोल्ट चाहिए पता है उसमें? 200 करोड़ में। वर्ल्ड बैंक नहीं, हाँ IMF, इंटरनेशनल मॉनेटरी फंड, ठीक है, वो कुछ डिस्कस किया था हम लोगों ने, ठीक है। तो प्लीज रिमेम्बर द नेम, ऐसा होमवर्क करके आओ।
They cannot print the currency whenever they want to. They print the currency only against the securities, the reserve they are maintaining. Maintaining bank sector reserve by the RBI maintains the bank sectors like commercial banks by setting reserve ratios like CRR and SLR. Both the CRR is cash reserve ratio. It is a ratio where the commercial banks need to deposit the current CRR is 4%. Need to deposit the 4% of their total deposit with the RBI, and the SLR is statutory liquidity ratio. The current SLR is 18%, where the commercial banks need to have a liquid reserve of 18%.
एक सेकंड, what is CRR SLR? फुल फॉर्म नहीं करता, करना क्या होता है?
जो मनी होता है उसका उतना परसेंट सेपरेट
कहाँ पे
मेंटेन करते हैं।
हाँ, फॉर व्हाट पर्पस?
अगर कोई मांगने आया तो उसके लिए स्टूडेंट है ना,
कौन रखता है? CRR कहाँ पर रखता है? रिजर्व बैंक रखता है। हाँ, CRR क्या होता है? CRR SLR हाँ, पीछे CRR फंड है। CRR is 4%। हाँ, वो 4% क्या मतलब? What is 4%? 4% नहीं, हाँ
4% of total amount that the commercial bank has, they have to keep with themselves to liquid cash.
Liquid cash, हाँ, what is the purpose? क्यों रखना पड़ता है?
If something happens,
हाँ,
any fraud happens, if they don't follow, all the people recover all the money. So they would have.
Okay, SLR क्या होगा फिर?
We have to maintain some gold and cash, gold, cash and securities and bonds reserve with RBI.
Now, what is current SLR?
18,000.
The RBI decides the interest rate and maintains inflation in the country. If there is inflation in the country, the RBI will increase the interest rate, repo rate, and the reverse repo rate, and suck the money out of the country so that the people of the country will spend less and the inflation will get under control. Managing country's foreign exchange reserve. One of the other function of the RBI is to manage the country's foreign exchange reserve. It does by how it does it is by investing in the foreign currency, and if there is a imbalance in the foreign exchange reserve, the RBI will liquidate the currency in the market or buy the more currency, however it is needed. And also it regulates the interest rate in the money market to ensure the liquidity. What is the next regulatory body is SEBI, Security Exchange Board of India. It was established in 1992, and the chairperson is Madhabai Puripuch. The main duty of SBI is to monitor and regulate the stock market and protect the interest of the investor by enforcing rules and regulation. What SEBI does it keeps an eye on the stock exchange and make sure they protect the rights of the investors in the market. SEBI has the power to supervise. SEBI can supervise the stock exchange, whether the companies are getting listed, delisting, all goes to under the SEBI. It is a complete access of to the exchange. The SEBI can have the complete financial records of the company that are listed on the exchange. It oversees the listing and delisting, as I said. It can take this if there's a malpractice or any insider trading, which SEBI comes to, the SEBI can take strict actions against it. It also promotes the SEBI also promotes investor education for stock market. It undertakes inspection, conducts audits, and if there's any wrongdoing, if a SEBI finds out expects that company is doing any wrongdoing, then the SEBI can audit them and inspect their financial records. IRD, Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority. The current chairperson is Subhash Chandra Khundia. It was set up in 1999. The main function or why IRDAI was set up to protect the interest of the insurance policy holders in the country, to push and promote insurance business in the country, and to make people more aware about the insurance policy and to make them invest more in the insurance policy. The IRDAI specifies the qualification and training requirement for agents and their intermediaries as well. It can levy fees and modify them as well. If it regulates, if there is a fee that is imposed on insurance, it can levy the fees as well, as per the IRDAI Act only.
एक सेकंड, कौन सी कंपनी है इंश्योरेंस में लीडिंग स्टॉक कंपनीज जो लिस्टेड है? हाँ, फिर एक सेकंड, प्रूडेंशियल, हाँ, थर्ड वन मैक्स मैक्स इंश्योरेंस, हाँ, और होमवर्क किया है कि कभी नहीं किया है सच? हाँ, तो लिखा नहीं था भाई? पहले दिन तो नहीं था ये। SBI लाइफ, ठीक है, बजाज है, हाँ बजाज, कोटक महिंद्रा का वैसे बैंक का ही है शेयर, लाइफ का नहीं है। हाँ, वो तो प्रूडेंशियल आ गया उसका, मैक्स बैंक, हाँ इंश्योरेंस, ठीक है। सो दिस आर ऑल द इंश्योरेंस कंपनीज, उन सभी का रेगुलेशन विल बी डन बाय IRDAI, जस्ट लाइक स्टॉक एक्सचेंज का SEBI है, तो इंश्योरेंस कंपनी का IRDAI है, ठीक है। बजाज अलायंस, Bajaj Finserv listed are Bajaj Finance and Bajaj Finserv. Bajaj Alliance is not listed. Okay, both are not NBFCs. Bajaj Finance and Bajaj Finserv both are NBFCs, but this Bajaj Alliance is not listed. Okay.
So the third point that has strict control over the
insurance rates.
The RDA has a strict control over the insurance rate. The insurance rates which the RDA provides to the insurance policies. Nobody can change it, not even the insurance agents. It's fixed by the regulatory.
But like, what are insurance rates? वही समझ में नहीं आ रहा है. What are insurance rates? या क्या होता है? किसी ने लिया है क्या अभी तक कोई इंश्योरेंस किसी भी टाइप का? एनीवन? हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस किसी के पास नहीं है?
insurance rate is the specific rate or the quota that they are going to get insured.
No, 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 no premium. No, no, no settlement rate. See, for any given that particular plan, insurance plan, okay. अब अभी for example SBI Life का लेते हैं, ठीक है? तो he will be saying कि you buy this term plan or the healthcare insurance from me. आपको कितना प्रीमियम पे करना है? Say he will say for example 4,000 to 5,000 rupees, and you will get an insurance cover of around 3 to 4 lakh of rupees or maximum 5 lakhs. Okay. अब now there is one thing कि वहाँ पे दो तीन चीजें आती है. See, whenever your age increases, there is a mortality charges or the mortality rate that is being working upon. Also, there is an expense rate being counted upon. Okay, कि उनको तो cost लगेगा ना. Say for example, if you pass the claim in any condition, तो उनका तो मतलब कितना 4-5 हजार प्रीमियम के सामने उनको कितना देना है आपको 4 to 5,000 रुपीज, करेक्ट? तो अभी यहाँ पे क्या होगा कि कंपनी को तो भी प्रॉफिट करना है ना. ऐसा तो नहीं है कि कंपनी ने मतलब ऐसे ही they will be granting donations for all these things. ठीक है? तो how they will be actually getting their profits through such insurance rates. मतलब एक पर्टिकुलर रेट रहेगा हर एक इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी पे कि इतना परसेंट उसके प्रॉफिट में जा रहा है. ठीक है? along with that sometimes mortality charges वो सब जिन लोगों की एज ज्यादा है उनके वहां पे वो ज्यादा होगा. why? because they are more prone to get their death compared to the early age people. ठीक है? अब अभी एक्चुअली यहाँ पे क्या हुआ था पता है? अभी ड्यूरिंग द कोविड टाइम्स देयर इज वन लाइक कोविड कवच करके एक पॉलिसी बहुत सारे लोगों ने लॉन्च किया था. फ्यूचर जनरली वाज वन सच इंश्योरेंस कंपनी, अगर नाम सुना है तो. फ्यूचर ग्रुप की कंपनी है फ्यूचर जनरली करके. ठीक है? अब उन लोगों ने क्या किया, दे रेज्ड अ प्लान ऑफ अराउंड 4 to 5,000 एंड डायरेक्ट हॉस्पिटलाइजेशन चार्जेस कवरेज जितना भी था वो दे वर गिविंग अराउंड 2 lakh to 3 lakh ऑफ रुपीज. ओके, ओनली इन अ प्रीमियम ऑफ अराउंड 2,000 रुपीज. ठीक है? तो लोगों ने क्या किया, अब सी व्हेनेवर यू वांट टू पास द क्लेम व्हाट ऑल डॉक्यूमेंट्स यू विल नीड. डेथ नहीं, डायरेक्टली डेथ पे क्यों डाल रहे हो बेचारे को? बेचारा उसको यार रिकवर तो होने दो. नहीं. Whenever I want to pass my claim, हाँ, डॉक्यूमेंट फ्रॉम द हॉस्पिटल. फर्स्ट एंड एवरी मोस्ट फॉरमोस्ट कंडीशन क्या होता है पता है? कि आपको 24 आवर्स का हॉस्पिटलाइजेशन कंपलसरी है उसमें. ठीक है? आप उसकी आपकी तबीयत अच्छी है कि नहीं है, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल यू नीड टू गेट एडमिट इनटू द हॉस्पिटल. ठीक है? उसके बाद आएगा डॉक्टर का समरी वगैरह, मेडिकेशन, और बाद में हाँ वो सब आ जाएगा. उसके बाद आएगा कि आपका एक एग्जिट लेटर. ठीक है? डिस्चार्ज समरी जिसको बोलते हैं. ठीक है? अब डिस्चार्ज समरी हो जाए ना, उसके बाद ओनली यू विल बी एबल टू सेंड ऑल दिस डॉक्यूमेंट्स इन देयर ओरिजिनल टू द इंश्योरेंस कंपनी. ठीक है? तो आप क्लेम कर रहे हो वहां पे कि ठीक है मेरा ये हॉस्पिटलाइजेशन हुआ था, मेरा इतना वगैरह खर्चा हुआ है 1.5 लाख का, यू प्लीज पास माई क्लेम. तो व्हाट द इंश्योरेंस कंपनी विल डू, दे विल बी कॉन्टेक्टिंग दिस हॉस्पिटल्स ओवर देयर, क्रॉस चेक करेंगे कि आपके वहाँ पे ऐसा कोई पेशेंट था, उनका आप मुझे समरी डॉक्यूमेंट्स दो, आपने खुद ने वहाँ पे एक फाइल बनाया आपका, वो मुझे सब कुछ भेज दो, सो दैट आई विल बी क्रॉस चेकिंग ऑल द इन्फॉर्मेशन. ठीक है? उसके बाद क्रॉस चेकिंग वगैरह हो गया, डॉक्टर्स वगैरह ने चेक कर लिया वहाँ पे, तो दे विल बी देन डायरेक्टली पासिंग ऑन टू द क्लेम और डायरेक्टली आपके बैंक अकाउंट में वो पैसे आ जाएंगे. अब यहाँ पे लोगों ने क्या किया, दे डायरेक्टली कोऑर्डिनेटेड विद द डॉक्टर्स. ठीक है? डॉक्टर का वो लेटर चाहिए कि जहाँ पे वो एडमिटेड हुआ था, डिस्चार्ज हुआ था, प्रिस्क्रिप्शन मेडिकेशन. ठीक है? और क्या किया लोगों ने फिर 2,000-3,000 का प्रीमियम ले लिया और डायरेक्टली 2 लाख का क्लेम पास कर दिया. ठीक है? 1 लाख ईच दे विल बी डिस्ट्रीब्यूटिंग इट. हो सकता है ना ऐसा? ठीक है? तो ऐसे बहुत सारे फ्रॉड केसेस हो गए. डॉक्टर को भी आधा मिल रहा था, तो उसको तो सिर्फ एक डॉक्यूमेंट ही लिखना था कि हाँ ये एडमिट हुआ था. ठीक है? और इसका कोविड हो गया था, इसका ट्रीटमेंट मैंने किया था, ये मेडिकेशन दिया था, 7 दिन का एडमिशन था हॉस्पिटल में, और पूरा समरी भेज दिया टू द इंश्योरेंस कंपनी. यस. ठीक है? तो फिर IRDA को तो कुछ तो करना पड़ेगा ना ये सब फॉल्स क्लेम्स के लिए. ठीक है? तो टू स्टॉप ऑल दिस थिंग्स आल्सो IRDA का कुछ टर्म्स कंडीशंस रहता है. अभी तो बहुत स्ट्रिक्ट हो गया है. यू कांट मतलब फॉल्सिफाई एवरी इंफॉर्मेशन ओवर देयर. ठीक है? उनका एक खुद मेडिकल रिप्रेजेंटेटिव रहता है अभी ज्यादातर इन एवरी हॉस्पिटल. ठीक है? तो वो तो चेक ही कर लेगा कि वो पर्टिकुलर रूम नंबर में आप एडमिट थे कि नहीं थे. ठीक है? हाँ.
PFRDA stands for Pension Fund Regulatory and Development Authority. The chairperson is superintended by the PFR. It was set in 2013, but it was firstly set in 2003 and properly implemented in 2013 as a regulator of India's pension sector. Its services extend to all citizens, including non-resident Indians. Firstly, the pension service was available only for the government employees, but now it is available to all citizens. The main objective is to ensure income security for senior citizens. The pension service is only available to senior citizens. It regulates pension funds and protects pension scheme subscribers. PFRDA regulates these pension schemes, National Pension System and Atal Pension Yojana. This PFRDA regulates these two schemes, addressing grievances related to various pension schemes in the country, addressing and resolving disputes between various intermediaries like banks and between customers and intermediaries. Means if there is a dispute between two intermediaries about the pension funds, this resolves the disputes.
एक सेकंड, अटल पेंशन योजना किसी ने सब्सक्राइब किया कि नहीं किया? नो वन टिल नाउ? वो कर लेना चाहिए आप सभी लोगों को. NPS, yes, it is in NPS.
Both are two different schemes.
NPS is a different scheme. Pension is a very different scheme. Atal pension योजना में क्या है? Say for example, you need to pay only rupees, I guess, around between. No. That is in terms of return you are talking about, yeah. But the premium that you need to pay is around, I guess, around between, depending on your age, it will be between 150 to 200 rupees to maximum 500 rupees, not more than that. Or I guess even say maximum it is 400 rupees. Okay, you just need to pay every month that much amount for a time frame of, I guess, around 30 years. So count from 25 to 55. Okay, after the age of 55, from the age of 60, they will be paying you a maximum of around rupees 5,000 per month as a pension. Okay.
Till 60.
It will start from 60 till the age of your demise, and post your demise, your spouse will also get the same thing. Okay. So ये स्कीम अगर कहीं से अगर चालू होता है तो किसी को करना है तो कर सकता है. It's a very safe scheme. And second, मतलब after 30 years 5,000 रुपए की वैल्यू वैसे भी कुछ नहीं रहने वाली है, बट अगर जो भी मिल रहा है तो you can take it. ठीक है. नेशनल पेंशन सिस्टम, you can go to the website and check it. ठीक है, थोड़ा ऐसे मतलब एक्सप्लोर करो. नेशनल पेंशन की योजना करके बहुत सारी ऐसी स्कीम्स है वहां पे. ठीक है, जस्ट एक्सप्लोर कि कितना प्रीमियम पे करना होता है, हाउ मच अमाउंट ऑफ पेंशन दे विल बी प्रोवाइडिंग एट द एज ऑफ आवर रिटायरमेंट. ठीक है, तो जस्ट एक्सप्लोर द वेबसाइट ऑफ नेशनल पेंशन सिस्टम.
What is an investment bank? The investment bank is a financial institution that acts as an intermediary in complex cooperative transactions. Means investment banks help to raise capital to the government, cooperative banks, and other entities. The role of investment banks, mergers and acquisition, means one ownership is transferred to another. If the company is in loss or something, they manage assets to the company. Initial public offering. If any company wants to comes first time in IPO, then they give advices about the stock. Means if the company first time comes in an IPO, then it helps them to guide them. And the merchant banking, it gives loans and all. Cooperative restructuring, cross-border transaction. Cross-border transaction means if between two countries, if it is between two countries, and buying and selling of stock, bonds, and other investments, it helps means it acts as an advisory to the banks and all.
Okay, what is corporate restructuring? Corporate restructuring क्या होता है? No idea. No idea. Okay. No. No.
So, some regulations.
No.
Maybe corporate institutions.
लॉस में है तो मतलब क्या क्या करेंगे क्या?
अगर लॉस में है तो उसको फिर से प्रॉफिट में आने के लिए
हाँ, लेकिन वो क्या स्टेप्स क्या रहेगा फिर? व्हाट इज रिस्ट्रक्चरिंग? हाँ, आप लोगों ने लिखा है तो आप ही बता दो। व्हाट इज कॉर्पोरेट रिस्ट्रक्चरिंग? हाँ, तो ऐसे लिख दिया है। हाँ,
Corporate restructuring happens when the company is facing any losses or is having financial issues. Then the investment bank comes into the action and it restructures the capital of the company, capital equities and the capitals, and try to get the working again.
लेकिन कैसे? नो 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 नो, नहीं। फॉर एग्जाम्पल इनिशियली डेट टू इक्विटी रेशियो पता है? व्हाट वाज डेट टू इक्विटी रेशियो? व्हाट इज डेट टू इक्विटी रेशियो? हाँ, यू कैन सिट डाउन फॉर सम टाइम। ये एक कांसेप्ट है। डेट टू इक्विटी रेशियो हमने पढ़ा था कि पढ़ा ही नहीं था शायद? हाँ, पढ़ा था शायद हम लोगों ने। हाँ, यस, लेस देन 1 करके बोला भी था मैंने। व्हाट इज डेट टू इक्विटी रेशियो? हाँ, नहीं, लायबिलिटी अपन एसेट नहीं है वो। इसमें लायबिलिटी एसेट कहाँ है जो? हाँ, फॉर एग्जांपल कंपनी ने आधा पैसा डेट से रेज किया है, आधा इक्विटी से किया हुआ है, फॉर एग्जांपल, ठीक है? तो मान लो कि डेट से 40% रेज किया था, 40% वाज डेट, 60% वाज इक्विटी, ठीक है? तो रेशियो कितना हुआ? 2:3, विच इज अगेन लेस देन 1। ये तो पहले आइडियल कंडीशन होनी चाहिए फॉर एनी कंपनी, ठीक है? नाउ से फॉर एग्जांपल कंपनी का ट्रांजैक्शन अच्छा नहीं हो रहा है, बिजनेस अच्छा नहीं हो रहा है, लॉस मेकिंग कंपनी है, ठीक है? बिकॉज ऑफ विच व्हाट इज हैपनिंग नाउ, दिस 40% इज नाउ टर्निंग टू 80 और इक्विटी इज स्टिल एट 60, ठीक है? डेट बढ़ता गया, दे मतलब दे कीप ऑन टेकिंग डिफरेंट लोन्स, डिफरेंट मनी मार्केट इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स, ठीक है? तो अभी कितना हो गया रेशियो? 4:3, ठीक है, विच इज ग्रेटर देन 1, ठीक है? लेकिन इट कांट बी ग्रेटर देन 1 अनलेस एंड अनटिल कि कोई ऐसा दिस आईबी बैंक विल बी सजेस्टिंग कि भाई आपको थोड़ा रिस्ट्रक्चर करना है योर एंटायर दिस पर्टिकुलर थिंग, अदरवाइज व्हाट विल हैपन इज यू विल कीप रीपेइंग योर इंटरेस्ट, ठीक है? आपने डेट ज्यादा लिया हुआ है तो योर मोस्ट ऑफ प्रॉफिट्स विल बी गोइंग इनटू इंटरेस्ट रीपेमेंट। इंटरेस्ट तो पे करोगे ना अगर लोन लिया हुआ है तो मेरा ज्यादातर प्रॉफिट कहाँ डाइवर्ट होगा? वहां पे जाएगा पहले तो कंपनी तो बाहर ही नहीं निकल पाएगी इस पर्टिकुलर साइकिल से। तो व्हाट दे विल से इज यू लिक्विडेट सर्टेन अमाउंट ऑफ इक्विटी, ठीक है? कन्वर्ट दिस डेट इनटू इक्विटी, जो हमने वो कन्वर्टेबल वाले चीज में देखा था, डेट तो कन्वर्ट हो सकती है ना इक्विटी में, इक्विटी कांट बी कन्वर्टेड इनटू, सो दैट दिस रिस्ट्रक्चर नाउ कम्स डाउन टू 2:3 रेशियो, ओके? तो दिस इज नोन एज कॉर्पोरेट रिस्ट्रक्चरिंग, कि उसका पूरा जो डेट और इक्विटी का रेशियो है, दे विल बी रिस्ट्रक्चरिंग ओनली टू मेक श्योर कि डेट भी मिल जाएगा, डेट भी कम रहेगा और मेरा ज्यादातर इंटरेस्ट रीपेमेंट्स विल नॉट बी गोइंग ओवर हियर, क्लियर? तो डेट टू इक्विटी रेशियो फॉर मोस्ट ऑफ द कंपनीज ऑलवेज इज लेस देन 1 इन स्टॉक मार्केट। अगर आप बैलेंस शीट्स में या तो फिर उसका डायरेक्टली कहीं से आपको वो स्क्रीनर ऐप से आपको मिल रहा है कि इसका डेट टू इक्विटी रेशियो इज ग्रेटर देन 1, देन दैट कंपनी इज नॉट एक्चुअली परफॉर्मिंग फाइनेंशियली गुड, ओके? आई थिंक एक एग्जांपल हमने एक असाइनमेंट ऐसा था जहाँ पे हमने, हाँ, डेट फ्री कंपनीज का कुछ हमने देखा था। हाँ? एक असाइनमेंट शायद था कि लिस्ट डाउन 5 कंपनीज व्हिच आर टोटली डेट फ्री, नो? Okay, then write a homework. List down 10 companies. No, list down 5 companies in large cap. List down 5 companies in large cap, mid cap, and small cap. एंड लिस्ट डाउन 10 कंपनीज जिसका डेट टू इक्विटी रेशियो इज ग्रेटर देन 1. नॉन कंपनीज, मतलब कुछ भी मत, वो पेनी स्टॉक वाली कंपनीज मत उठा के ले आना, वो तो वैसे भी ग्रेटर देन 1 रहेगा. ग्रेटर देन 1. Debt to equity ratio is greater than 1. Identify 10 such companies. Done? Okay. Continue. It's done. अब आपका वहीं पे लैपटॉप रख दो, क्योंकि वो कनेक्टर तो नहीं हो पाएगा अभी, वो डिफिकल्ट है थोड़ा. नहीं, स्क्रीन शेयरिंग नहीं होगा शायद वो. हाँ नहीं, वो प्रॉब्लम है इसमें कनेक्टर में. या एक बार ट्राई करके देखो. वो बहुत सारे टेक्निकल एरर है, ऑडियो भी नहीं जा रहा है इसलिए तो. बट गूगल स्लाइड या तो फिर मतलब जूम में आप प्रेजेंट कर रहे हो ना, तो फिर एवरीवन कैन जस्ट लुक इनटू दैट जूम लिंक जो फोर्थ वाला है. यू कैन डू दैट. नहीं, नहीं जाएगा. जूम लिंक पे क्लिक कर दो, वो जो मेल आया है ना उसका फोर्थ लिंक जो है, यू कैन कनेक्ट इट. नहीं नहीं नहीं, नहीं.
Have internet connection. So we can log in Google and we can share the Google site link to serve in the Gmail, and then we can from your Gmail we can open the site over there.
लेकिन यहाँ पे होना चाहिए ना, ये कनेक्टर अगर वर्क कर रहा है तो एक वेट.
सर आपकी इसमें होगा वो लैपटॉप में होगा.
इन दिस लैपटॉप यू आर सेइंग. ओके, लेट्स डू वन थिंग. पहले एक बार ये कनेक्ट करके देखो हो रहा है. हां इसमें कनेक्ट करो. हां सर, ये सीधा करना होगा, इसलिए आई हेट एप्पल प्रोडक्ट्स. अरे नहीं नहीं, हाँ ठीक है. लेट्स वो जीमेल वाला ट्राई करते हैं. चलो लेट्स सी. लेकिन ये अगेन दिस लैपटॉप इज नॉट माइन, ठीक है. तो जीमेल आईडी भी इसमें किसी और का चल रहा है. दैट इज अनदर स्टोरी. हाँ दैट इज व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग. हाँ हाँ नहीं तो वो नहीं होगा उस. डू वन थिंग, यू कनेक्टेड विद द जूम. बाकी जब जूम में लॉग इन कर दो, वो फोर्थ वाला जो लिंक है ना, एंड कीप द ऑडियो. अरे वो जो फर्स्ट वाला जो मेल था ना उसी में. हाँ एक सेकंड, वेट वेट वेट, मैं व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप में शेयर करता हूँ. चलो जी, वो व्हाट्सएप में मैंने शेयर कर दिया है. ओके, वहां से डायरेक्ट कनेक्ट कर लो. शेयर आएगा आपका, और वहां पे वो शेयर स्क्रीन कर दो नीचे से. इज इट देयर? बाकी सब म्यूट कर दो.
सर ऐसे ही करते हैं।
क्या हो रहा है?
वो मांग रहा है
क्या
रिस्ट्रिक्शंस आ जा रहा है, स्क्रीन शेयर नहीं कर सकते, रिस्ट्रिक्शन बिल्कुल नो डायग्नोस में चेंज कर दो।
तो फिर क्लोज कर
कर दूं मगर सर 5 वीडियो में देखिए
फोन से करना ना स्टेटस शेयर, फोन में चलेगा ना? मैं वो फाइल
iOS में नहीं होगा तो उसमें इसमें हो जाएगा। iOS में नहीं होगा तो उसमें हो जाएगा, उसका साथ में।
अरे वही है कि इसका फाइल यहाँ पे नहीं आ रहा है ना।
डिवाइस में zip फाइल
हो गया? मैंने काफी बाकी है, आज तो कोई प्रिपेयर करके नहीं है, सिर्फ पीपीटी बना के आ गए क्या? और कुछ नहीं हो पाया? वेरी गुड। यार अभी यार इफ यू आर प्लानिंग फॉर द रोल ऑफ आईबी बैंकर तो ऐसे ही एक्सक्यूजेस तो रहने नहीं दो मेरे लिए, ठीक है? ऑफिस में पता ही नहीं चलेगा व्हेन यू आर गोइंग, व्हेन यू आर लिविंग, ठीक है? सुबह 8 बजे निकल रहे हो, रात को 12 बजे आ रहे हो, डेडलाइन पे तो मतलब पता ही नहीं चलेगा कि कैसे काम हो रहा है। उस टाइम कैसे एक्सक्यूज नहीं चलेगी सर आज नहीं है टाइम, और बैठ जाएगा परफॉर्मेंस चेक कर लेके कितनी डाउनग्रेड कर देगा। हां कितना आवर्स का ऐसा कोई फिक्स नहीं है, 12 आवर्स यू नीड टू लाइक काउंट अपॉन 10 to 12 तो आराम से रहेगा। जैसे मतलब कि यू आर एस्केलेटिंग इन योर रोल तो फिर तो स्पाइडरमैन के डायलॉग आएगा विद मोर पावर कम्स मोर रिस्पांसिबिलिटी। हां आ गया? जस्ट वेट अ मिनट, मेरा म्यूट कर देता हूं मैं यहाँ से, अदरवाइज आपका यहाँ पे भी आ गया। I can't share it when they are shared. हाँ
So, a warm good morning to everyone. Myself Vishwesh, with me Kuldeep and Pallab. No, she is making video.
Okay, you are making a video. हाँ चलेगा, एक वीडियो रखते हैं ना, लास्ट में नहीं आता। ठीक है।
A warm good morning to everyone. Myself Vishwesh, with me Kuldeep and Pallab. We are going to present a PPT on cash equities, treasury bill, commercial paper, and certificate of deposit. So let's start with what is cash equities. So cash equities is stocks or equity shares which are easily converted into cash. The cash equities are a portion of investment which can easily convert into cash. It can be traded on BSE and NSE like in Indian market. In investing, cash equities is a common stock issued to the public and also referred to the institutional trading of this share. So next one, equity shares. So we are going to discuss about equity shares, its advantage and disadvantage. So before we are going to tell about equity share, the basic three things about equity share is long-term investment. Equity share are long-term investment, and there will be no promise of giving dividend. The third thing is it gives the ownership of the company. So in detail, equity share means you are partial owner of the company, as we discussed, and you get voting rights in a certain company. Voting rights in a certain company means you will get the right to decide new launch of product, expansion of the product, and some expansion of business and Equity shares are long-term financial sources for any company. So mostly company issue the shares for meeting their long-term financial goals like expansion and etc. That equity share offer no guarantee of any returns and can lose or gain value in the long run. So equity share not promise any giving any fixed dividend. It depends on the market. The company is performing good or not. Any questions? Some features and advantages of equity shares. Equity shareholders have voting rights and elect the management of the company. So not only equity shareholders have right to vote on external matters, can also right to vote in internal matters like voting or appointment of board of directors, voting internal decisions. The rate of dividend on equity capital depends upon the availability of surplus funds. There is no fixed rate of dividend on equity capital. So this line means there will be no fixed rate on giving dividend to equity share. They will first give to any preference shareholders, or they will pay for dividend, tax, then they will go for paying equity shareholder. Equity share does not create any obligation to pay fixed rate of dividend, as we discussed earlier. In case of profits, equity shareholders are retail gainers by way of increased dividend and appreciation in the value of the share. So, in the case of investor purpose, when an investor is investing in equity share, he will get capital appreciation. If the equity share increases, the price of equity also increases. So, there will be a capital appreciation in equity shareholder case. So, there are some disadvantages. So, I have divided into two parts. So, in the point of view of shareholder, equity shareholders get dividend only if there remains any profit after paying debenture tax, interest, tax, and preference dividend. So, a company will first pay to the preference shareholders, then they will pay interest, tax, then they will go for equity shareholder. The second one, equity shareholders bears the highest degree of risk of the company. So, it depends upon the company. If the company goes to zero, then the equity shareholder only remains to claim the face value of the share. Market price of the equity share fluctuates very well. As it is traded on the Indian market, the price is widely fluctuated. Disadvantage from the company's point of view. So equity share is highest among all the sectors. It is expensive compared to different sources of finance. So payment of dividend on equity share is non-taxable deductible expenditure. This line means we have to pay 15% of tax for every dividend issued by company. So over to Kuldeep.
So I'll be explaining you about the T-bills. Firstly, I would like to explain you with the definition that these are the government bonds and the debt securities with a maturity with less than a year. It is a short-term debt instrument which is provided by Government of India to the every person or a player in the market. The description about the T-bills. The T-bills are issued to meet the short-term mismatch of receipts and expenditures of the government calculation. Means like in the receipt payments and the expenditures, if there is a mismatch, then to fulfill that expenditure and revenue, the government issues this particular instrument to fulfill the mismatch. And the bonds for longer maturity are called dated securities. The T-bills are available for a minimum amount of rupees 25,000 and the multiples of 25,000. Second are the pros and cons of treasury bills. The pros are there is a zero default risk since the T-bills are issued at a discounted rate and are on maturity it is given on the face value. So there is a zero default risk since it is issued by the Government of India. The second, state and the local income taxes are not imposed in the interest income, like the margin which is given by the Government of India. Like if for 91 days, Government of India is giving a treasury bill at a price of 98.87 and the face value on maturity is 100. So the margin which is between 98.87 and 100 is the amount which we are gaining out of the treasury bill which we have taken. The third point, can be bought or sold easily in the secondary market.
So on July 28, 2020, NSE introduced the trading of T-bills in the capital market segment. So now it is easily tradable, but in the current scenario or the reality of the scenario, there are no much buyers and sellers of the T-bill security, so it is hardly to trade. The fourth point, have low minimum investment requirement. Like in every citizen in this scenario can invest around 25,000 in the stock market, and with the security of the government of India that they'll repay.
25 is the minimum amount. For any treasury.
Any treasury starting from 20,000 and the multiples of 25,000. The con, offer lower returns. Like I mentioned here, that T-bills are firstly issued in 3 maturities, which are 91 days, 182 days, and 364 days. So this is the yield returns of the treasury bills on 25th February 2020. So these are 3.7% for 91 days, 4.19% for 182 days, and 4.52% for 364 days. So if we compare this with other instruments, these are in the stock market, these are a very less return in comparison of other securities. And we can also see that if we are putting the money in saving account, for a general percentage, 3% is what we get. But in the FDs, if we are providing for 91 days, then we will get a 3.80 return, which is more than the T-bill interest. For 182 days, it's 4.25 for the bracket of 182 days to 364 days. So we can see that Treasury bill is providing low interest or low return, say, than the FDs. Can hinder cash flow for people requiring steady income. So in the third point is that, like sir mentioned in the class, that in T-bills, it is mentioned in the memo that interest will be paid in regular intervals, but the pricing is given at the maturity, adding of the principal. But like how it will the cash flow? So like a common person who wants a return in every 2 or 3 months will not get returns in every 2 or 3 months. Like every month, if I'm investing 100 rupees and I'm expecting 8 rupee return every month, but I'll not get 8 rupee return in every month, but I will get at the time of maturity. Well, that's the second point. Maturity does not pay any coupon interest. Until the maturity, one will not get any interest, right? And but the third point is not in the regular interval. So it will affect the cash flow of it's like more or less the same thing. Like you will be getting very lesser amount of returns compared to other securities, okay? And because of which if you are planning to like have a good amount of return at the end of 6 months or 1 year, you won't be able to generate that much amount of returns to any such market security. So like I mentioned earlier, the recent development about the T-bills on July 28, 2020, NSE introduced the trading of T-bills. And SDLS is the other security which is of the same kind like Treasury bill, and it is the state development loan which is state government provides to the customers of the share market. Largely issued in the range of 3 to 35 years. So, like in the first slide, I mentioned about the long-term long-term T-bill kind of instrument. So SDL is one of that. Right, 10 to 35 years. कौन सा ऐसा प्रोजेक्ट लोन रहेगा स्टेट गवर्नमेंट का? So infrastructure example contract. So metro national central government. State highways, national highways. National is national, state is state. You can't. Educational institutions like government schools. Okay. Second. Dams and reservoirs. Okay. Third can be hospitals, local civil hospitals that we often find. Power generating plants can be like a joint venture between state and government, state and central government. Okay. So basically, they will be trying to ensure that electricity is provided in the rural areas and other towns. Okay. So such projects will be taking time to get developed. Okay. So at least they will be having a time frame of around 10 to 15 years, or between 5 to 10 years. But nowadays, this time frame should get reduced considering technologies and other developments. So next, let me tell us about my topic. My topic is commercial paper. Commercial paper is an unsecured money market instrument in the form of the promissory notes that we have to pay some interest on it. There is also given short period of time up to 1 year. Promissory note is issued by the company to raise some funds for their short-term obligation and loans. Promissory note उसी कंपनी को इशू होता है जो प्रॉमिस करती है पे करने का जो अमाउंट जब मैच्योरिटी पीरियड में अमाउंट जब दिया रहता है उसको पे करने का जो प्रॉमिस करती है प्रॉमिसरी नोट उसी मतलब की कंपनी को इशू किया जाता है के बाद एग्जांपल है तो पेरोल total amount paid by the company to its employee for a set year for a set period of time. Advantages that it provides some more funds compared to the other sources and the continuous sources of funds. Besides, like what industries है जो issue करी commercial paper, that is the main industry rate 50 CR through the commercial paper with allotment date of 17 June 2021 and the maturity date of 11th August 2021. कितने दिन का हुआ ये commercial paper from 11 June to 17 June? कितने दिनों का मतलब हुआ एंट्री क्या हुआ how many days? 3 months. मैं ले रहा हूँ तो वापस ले रहा कितना होगा काउंट करो डेट्स
तो अगस्त कितने डेज अगस्त
it is 17 June and 11 August. So 17 July will be like 31 days and 2 months, 55, 50 will be about 55, 50. 11 को आपको काउंट करना है, ठीक है? Because that is getting ventured on that day, ठीक है? So 11 will be counted. क्योंकि ये ऐसा कैलकुलेशंस में आएगा तभी. That formula that we had written, remember which formula of interest calculation? T upon 360 over there. So 55 by 360 enter over here.
Okay, only then you will be able to calculate what will be the net amount of interest that I will be paying over a time frame of 55 days. Clear? So certificate deposit. Certificate of deposit. We are going to discuss about certificate of deposit. It is nothing but similar like fixed deposits and time deposits. The major difference between is certificate of deposits. That we can negotiate certificate of deposits, but we cannot negotiate fixed deposits and time deposits. CD can be issued by all Indian financial institution or scheduled commercial bank. So only financial institution and scheduled commercial bank can issue this instrument. Our RRB, like Rural Reserve Banks and financial. Yeah. So they can be issued in India for a minimum deposit of 1 lakh and successive multiples of it. Scheduled commercial banks and all Indian financial institutions are eligible to issue CD. Corporate banks and RRB cannot issue as we have discussed earlier. Corporate banks and RRB, that is Rural Reserve Banks, cannot issue CD, certificate of deposit. CD is issued by SCB, have a term period anywhere between 3 months to 1 year, and CD issued by financial institutions have a term period ranging from 1 to 3 years. So there are different term periods. A certificate of deposit is fully taxable under the Income Tax Act. There is no exemption on this deposits. A CD cannot be publicly traded. It cannot be traded in BSE. Banks are not permitted to buy back a CD before its maturity. So if you buy a CD, you cannot ask like I want my money returned back. So banks are not permitted to buy back as a CD before its maturity. Thank you. Any doubt? And we are open for questions. Wait, you can ask any questions. Okay, so I have a CDCP presentation. Any questions? Either I will be asked. You can ask the questions. You can ask. So anyone can tell me why equity shares are better? Equities are better than debt. Ownership. So you can have more profit. You have more profit.
Are better than debt because you have to pay the interest.
Interest is the point of view of the company.
Yeah, from the point of view of the company.
And this question is from the investor. And the purpose of shareholder. Right.
And it's easily available actually.
That is ownership. Ownership also. And the rights of like if the T-bills are offering low returns, then why still it is in function? Who are the people who are investing in T-bills?
You want secure investment.
Since in the slide what I told that state government and the central government don't charge tax on the returns from T-bills. So mainly the people who have crores and crores of rupees, they invest on T-bills in place of FD. Because since in FD you invest crores and crores, then the interest rate goes up. But in T-bills, it is at a constant rate. There is one more thing. What is the rate of interest in 91 days? 3.7%. Is annually if you keep on like rotating in one or the other like T-bills, you will get around approximately maybe how much rate of return over 1 year. Between 10 to 12%. Correct. So that is also one of the reasons that 10 to 12% can't be like a very much lesser return if you compare to FDs.
Defense sector, they are already there. Tax free is there. When third portion can be annually, but only for 91 days. If you go for the 3-4 days, then it will be around 4.5%. Then there is no meaning to it. You need to first of all check that for how much time frame the amount of interest is being paid upon. Okay? So mostly everyone will go for this one. It depends. Like again, you need to also have a good company that is actually like raising that funds to 91 days period, or any institution that is raising to 91 days period. Generally, it will be for longer time frame only. Okay, but sometimes it does happen. And if you want to park funds from the stock market to the T-bills, when does that happen? Stock markets, I know that more amount is being converted to equity, but still I want to transfer my funds from equity to this T-bill. When does that happen? तो मैंने अपना पैसा जो इक्विटी मार्केट में था वहां से उठाकर वापस ये T-bill में डाल दिया. Fluctuation. पूरा मार्केट ज्यादातर क्रैश करेगा या करेक्ट करेगा, वही है ना. वोलेटाइल तो ठीक है लेकिन क्रैश होना चाहिए. ठीक है, तो एट दैट टाइम इफ आई एम नोइंग दैट जस्ट बिकॉज़ ऑफ, से फॉर एग्जांपल लाइक रशिया यूक्रेन वॉर, आई वाज अवेयर ऑफ द फैक्ट द मार्केट विल नॉट प्रोवाइड गुड रिटर्न्स. So it's better to park my funds not in stock market but over here in T-bills. Okay, ये भी तो हो सकता है. सिनेरियो तो है. It was nice, really. अच्छा था. See, you need to write down like examples like this. ठीक है, आपको explain करना है, वो theory तो ठीक है, but along with that the presentation, हाँ, smarter type upgrade कर दीजिए. Smart okay. धन्यवाद. एनिमेशन वो फोटो पे ऐड करवा दो. ये तो लाइन है. You see the more the amount of you are able to explain the presentation, feedback आपके लिए रहेगा. You are very very lacking much in content and theories. मुझे कमर्शियल पेपर के बारे में अभी भी कुछ नहीं पता है आपको कैसे हो रहा है ट्रांजेक्शन. ठीक है, तो प्लीज गो थ्रू टीवीएट. ठीक है, आपको समझना है. आपको अगर इंटरव्यू क्रैक करना है तो फिर एट द एंड ऑफ द डे यू नीड टू बी अवेयर ऑफ ऑल दिस थियरीज. पहले तो वो क्लियर करो, उसके बाद एग्जांपल्स पे आओ, उसके बाद द डिस्कशन दैट वी आर हैविंग इन द क्लासरूम. ठीक है, तो ऑब्जेक्टिव और सिंपल कि आपको थियरी कितना पहले तो समझ में आया है ड्यूरिंग दिस प्रेजेंटेशन. सेकंड, उसके रिलेवेंट आपको एग्जांपल्स whether you are able to give it or not in the presentation, that was the second objective. And third, whether you are able to interact with the presenter, वो आपका सॉफ्ट स्किल्स हो जाएगा. ठीक है, सॉफ्ट स्किल्स पे तो चलो ठीक है, बाद में भी काम हो जाएगा, तो आप 3 दिन में भी वो you will be able to cope up with it. लेकिन theories are not clear, concepts are not clear, it is not going to help you. ठीक है, ऑनलाइन में hello online students.
Yes sir.
हेलो ऑनलाइन स्टूडेंट्स, आर यू देयर?
Yes sir.
हाँ, अभी किन का बाकी है
सर? ऑनलाइन हुआ ही नहीं शायद से.
हाँ नहीं मतलब एक ही 2 लोग है शायद, बाकी सब दिखाई नहीं दे रहे. आपका बाकी ओंकार, और आपके साथ कौन है टीम में? संतोष. या देन यू कैन डायरेक्टली शेयर द स्क्रीन ओवर हियर.
ओके सर. ओके. हेलो.
बाकी सब ऑनलाइन मतलब लॉगिन करके देखो, जो ऑनलाइन स्टूडेंट्स है वो प्रेजेंट कर रहे हैं अभी. हाँ यस. बाकी सब जूम में लॉगिन करो. आई हैव शेयर्ड द लिंक इन द व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप. ओंकार, यू कैन स्टार्ट. Omkar, are you there?
Yes, I'm sharing screen.
Okay.
Is my screen visible?
Yes, everyone is able to see the screen.
Hello, my name is Omkar. Me and Santosh today, me and Santosh are going to explain the concept of ADR and GDR, that is American Depository Receipts and Global Depository Receipt. So first, let's understand what is depository receipts. It is a type of negotiable financial security that is traded on a local stock exchange but represents a security, usually in the form of equity that is issued by a foreign publicly listed company. The depository receipt, which is a physical certificate, allows investors to hold shares in the equity of other countries. And one of the most common types of depository receipt is the American Depository Receipt, that is ADR, which has been offering companies, investors, and traders global investment opportunities. Hello. Hello.
Yes. Omkar, you can
Am I
continue.
audible, sir? Am I audible?
Yeah, audible.
Okay. Now, ADR, that is American Depository Receipt. It is a stock that traded in the United States but represent a specified number of shares in a foreign corporation. It was devised in the late 1920s to help American invest in overseas securities and to assist non-US companies wishing to have their stock traded in the American markets. American depository receipts were introduced as a result of the complexities involved in the buying shares in foreign countries and the difficulties associated with trading at different prices and currency values. About the ADR, the first ADR was introduced by JP Morgan in 1927 for the British retailer Selfridges Company. The largest depository bank is the Bank of New York Mellon. The stock of many non-US companies traded on the US exchanges through the use of ADRs. The shares of the non-US corporation trade on the non-US exchange, while the ADRs trade on a US exchange. Now the advantages of ADR. For individuals, ADRs are an easy and cost-effective way to buy shares in a foreign company. They save money by reducing administration costs and avoiding foreign taxes on each transaction. Foreign entities like ADRs because they get more US exposure, allowing them to tap into the wealthy North American equities markets. Over to you, Santosh. Hello. Hello, Santosh.
Is he there?
He was there, sir.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay, sir. Sir, further is the global depository receipt. That is, if your company have to listed on globally, as American depository receipts are only for American, global depository receipts are for globally. That is, global depository receipt means any institution in the form of depository receipt or certificate created bond created by the overseas depository bank outside India and issued to non-resident investors against the issue of ordinary shares or foreign currencies, convertible bonds or issuing company. Among the Indian companies, Reliance was the very first company, sir, that was on GDR. About sir, GDR, that is a global depository receipt, is a certified issued by a depository bank which purchases shares of foreign companies and deposit it into the account. GDR represents ownership of an underlying number of shares. And same as ADR, GDR have some advantages that foreign markets. Company can get itself registered on overseas stock exchange or over the counter, and its shares can be traded in more than one currency. GDR saves the taxes of an investor. An investor will need to pay tax if the purchase shares in the foreign company overseas in GDR. Semi not in that case. These are some companies which are included in ADR and GDR. In ADR, there is Infosys, Tata, ICICI Bank, Wipro, HDFC, Dr. Reddy's Laboratory, and same as GDR, Axis Bank, Reliance, GAIL, Larsen and Toubro, Mahindra and Mahindra, SBI, sir. Thank you.
Hello, sir.
Yeah. Any doubts? EDR and GDR is clear, right? Normally, like just there, depository receipts in exchange of the. Yeah, hello. Omkar, I am able to hear.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir,
there
is like I haven't mentioned like process and types of ADR.
Yeah, it can be done.
Yes, sir. Because first two lecture I was absent in first two lectures, and while making this PPT, I was not able to connect that much with the concept. So what should I do, sir, now? Because I read through, I go through the PPTs, but I was not able to connect that.
Okay, what you can do is, I have shared the PPTs in the WhatsApp group, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can go through first that particular thing, and later you can just ask me where you are not able to understand it. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Any other people online who are left to share?
Yes, sir.
हाँ
वो मुझे इंट्रोडक्शन ऑफ फाइनेंशियल सिस्टम दिया था ना सब्जेक्ट.
हाँ yes. Have you done it?
Yes, sir. I will share PDF.
Okay. Are you able to share?
Are you visible?
Yeah, it is visible. You can continue.
Yes, it's visible.
So agenda of PPT will be introduction financial system. So first discussing, try to understand what is financial system comprised of. Second, participants involved in financial system. As we understand that the system is comprised of many elements together. What are components? Who are the participants which are involved in system? Third is regulatory components of financial system. The regulatory bodies who are trying to regulate what are the functioning is going within the financial system. Fourth is function of financial system. What are the various functions which is performed, which executed by the financial system? Then start the first content. Introduction of financial system. So financial system further divided into components like financial market, financial intermediaries, regulatory bodies, and suppliers and demand of funds. So financial system is comprising many elements, many parts together is called system. The system when it comprises of many elements because it is a broader term. Broader aspect to understand. Financial system involves all the participants which are some how one way or other way involves in financial activities, whether involves in investing, whether involves raising finance from the market, involves providing deposit, make in deposit, taking the loans, providing the loans, any of the financial system, they are involved in brokerage activity that even that will be considered in financial service will be part of financial system. So any financial activity concerned about exchange of financial assets, trading of the financial asset, all this activity which will be performed by any of the person, any bank, any business, any individual, any company, any corporation, even by the government. So those will be considered participants of financial system in one way or other way if they involve in the financial transaction. So now see broader categories in financial market. There are money market and capital market. Financial intermediaries, there are banks, mutual funds, NBFCs, insurance companies, and NBFSSC. All these act as an intermediary in a financial system because they facilitate financial transaction by providing financial services. If you need some finance, if you have to raise for money, you will be going to one of these institutions, one of the intermediaries, because these intermediaries facilitate the services providing the funds by taking something in a return, and whatever in any needs these intermediaries get involved or providing financial services. Then talking about regulatory bodies, RBI, SEBI, Ministry of Finance, IRDA, PFRDA, all these financial system. I'm talking about concern about India. So regulatory body talking about concern of India, which are RBI. They regulates the commercial banks, which is also regulates money market instruments. And talking about SEBI, they regulates capital market. About SEBI, they capital market. So all the transaction of shares, bonds, debentures, equities, all that are controlled under the SEBI. All the regulators under the SEBI, governing bodies, this only. Then talking about Ministry of Finance, to make all the financial record and transaction for the country, and then take IRDA, which is insurance regulatory, and then it's PFRDA, Pension Funds Regulatory Development Authority. Then talk about supplier and demanders of funds. There is an individual, business, and government. So supplier and demanders of funds. So any exchange process, when does any exchange process takes place? It takes place when there is someone who wants to for something, and other person ready to give that exchange of another commodity, which would act as a want to desire of that person. So exchange takes place when both the desires are fulfilled by the exchanging some commodities each other need. Each other requirements. So that is how to supply and demand function. Some in being and supply and demand function gives rise to price discovery in financial market. So that is any price of financial, how to is decided on the basis of supply, that financial asset and demand of that asset. So we will discuss all these things more and another slides. Meaning of financial system. A financial system is a system involving various components like the financial market, financial intermediaries, suppliers, and demanders of the fund, facilitating trade in financial assets regulated by the governing bodies. So, we are seen as many components comprising financial system, in which there was financial market regulating different markets which perform the function of facilitating the financial transaction. And there was financial intermediaries, in simply termed words, that is financial institutions like the banks, mutual funds, or they were supplier and demanders of funds. Any place, any system will become into existence even if you will be demand and supply, because that will be facilitate exchange process. This is what takes place in a financial system as well. There are suppliers or there were demanders of funds. For example, company wants which require money for the investment, so it will be demand for the funds. Because that company needs that money, where would be public? If public will be investing in that company, providing funds, taking the shares in exchange, public acting as the whole supplier of the funds company. To company make the investment, their return will be capital gain, dividend, in anything return. So now system make function in financial market institution that enables lenders and borrowers to exchange funds, and it serves as a network between all the financial institutions providing financial services to trade in financial instruments, in a way connecting demand with supply. So government bodies keeping track over the rules and regulation of the system, whether the system are working well, so no one gets cheated. Equal opportunity provided to the everyone to do exchange process to raise the capital to have the benefits. Yes sir, मेरा ये इतना.
Okay, but I think there is a lot of text being involved. It's better कि आप थोड़ा content slow रखें, मतलब कम रखें, along with examples, क्योंकि ये पूरा content मतलब कहीं से कहाँ से लिया हुआ है? हेलो,
तो आवाज नहीं आ रही.
I am saying ये content आपने कहाँ से लिया हुआ है?
नोट्स निकाली थी ना इसके
ऑडियो इज ऑन किसी का पीछे?
थोड़ा निकाला है और गूगल पे थोड़ा निकाला है.
हाँ, तो उसको थोड़ा मिनिमाइज करो.
ओके.
ठीक है, और प्रेजेंटेशन में थोड़ा मतलब लाइक मेक श्योर टू राइट इट मोर इनोवेटिव. ठीक है, ये पूरा टेक्स्ट से भर गया है, लेकिन इससे मतलब ऐसा लगेगा कि यू आर जस्ट कीप ऑन रीडिंग द एंटायर टेक्स्ट, लेकिन वो किसी को समझ में नहीं आएगा कि एग्जैक्टली कहना क्या चाह रहे हो. ठीक है, रिलेटेड टू एनी ऑफ द टॉपिक्स दैट यू हैव डिस्कस्ड.
ओके
ओके, तो मेक श्योर कि नेक्स्ट टाइम से थोड़ा उसका टेक्स्ट बहुत कम रखो और एग्जांपल्स इंक्लूड करो. इट्स ओनली इंक्लूडिंग अबाउट एवरी टॉपिक्स दैट यू हैव डिस्कस्ड. ओके.
यस सर.
ओके, अभी किसी का बाकी है? ओके.
हेलो हेलो सर.
हाँ यस
सर, हमारा तो कुछ फीडबैक नहीं दिया सर आपने.
हाँ, आप एडीआर जीडीआर का वही एक था, किसी टेक्स्ट बहुत ज्यादा है, यू हैव मेंशन सो मच ऑफ टेक्स्ट, लेकिन आप थोड़ा सिंपलीफाई वे में आप लिखिए कि व्हाट इज एडीआर एग्जैक्टली, ट्रांजैक्शन कैसे होता है, दैट नीड्स टू बी मोर फोकस्ड अपॉन. ठीक है. सो व्हेनेवर अमेरिकन डिपॉजिट रिसीट इज बीइंग इश्यूड अगेंस्ट द इक्विटी ऑफ अ फॉरेन कंपनी, तो वो प्रोसेस फ्लो यू कैन शो दैट. ओके, स्टेप बाय स्टेप. गेटिंग इट? तो ही शायद वो समझ में आएगा लोगों को कि ओके ठीक है, पहले फॉरेन इक्विटी का जो शेयर्स है उसके एक्सचेंज में, दैट आई थिंक वी हैड डिस्कस्ड द एग्जांपल वेयर 10 shares were provided and against that one ADR receipt was being provided, right?
Okay sir, yes.
And you need to even mention कि in terms of ADR तो डॉलर्स में रहेगा, बाकी दूसरे करेंसीज में है तो ग्लोबल मार्केट का GDR में रहेगा. ठीक है, ज्यादातर वो पाउंड, यूरोज या दूसरी फॉरेन करेंसी में ट्रांजैक्शन रहेगा.
यस सर.
ठीक है.
यस सर, थैंक यू.
हाँ, फॉरेक्स में डिसएडवांटेज क्या था? करेंसी रेट वाला, करेंसी रेट नहीं, क्या डिसएडवांटेज क्या था? मल्टीपल करेंसीज, तो एक्सचेंज रेट का फ्लक्चुएशन था कि क्या था? बाकी यहाँ के जो स्टूडेंट्स बटे जूम में है तो दे कैन कम आउट ऑफ दैट जूम मीटिंग. फॉरेक्स रिस्क, हाँ तो दैट इज द फॉरेन एक्सचेंज रिस्क, मतलब करेंसी का दूसरे करेंसी पे. फॉर एग्जांपल एट द टाइम ऑफ बाइंग, मान लो कि सी आई एम एन इंडियन इन्वेस्टर, ठीक है, लेकिन फिर भी मुझे वहां पे ट्रांजैक्ट करना है, ठीक है, तो मैंने कितने पे लिया, $22 पे लिया फॉर एग्जांपल, ठीक है, लेकिन एट द टाइम ऑफ बाइंग व्हाट दैट एक्सचेंज विल बी सेइंग कि $22 तो ठीक है, व्हाट इज द एक्सचेंज रेट ऑफ डॉलर एट दैट टाइम, से फॉर एग्जांपल 76 का, तो व्हाट इज द अमाउंट दैट आई एम पेइंग ओवर हियर, कितना हो रहा है, काउंट करो, 76 मल्टीप्लाई बाय 22, 1672 रुपीज, ठीक है, तो वो बोलेगा कि आप मुझे 1672 रुपीज जमा कीजिए, या तो फिर आपके ट्रेडिंग अकाउंट में होने चाहिए, ठीक है. नाउ से फॉर एग्जांपल ये 25 चला गया, ठीक है, से फॉर एग्जांपल टाटा मोटर्स का है एडीआर, ठीक है, बट दिस ड्यू टू सम रीजन it has come down to 72. Now what is 25 into 72? 1800. Actually मिलना कितना चाहिए था मुझे, 25 into 76, that is how much, 1900. कितना हो रहा है, 1900 होगा, 4 का डिफरेंस है तो, ठीक है, तो एक्चुअली मेरा लॉस कितना हुआ यहाँ पे इन ट्रांजेक्शन में, 100 रुपीज का, तो दैट 100 रुपीज तो मेरा जस्ट बिकॉज ऑफ फॉरेक्स का जो फ्लक्चुएशन हुआ उसकी वजह also कि डॉलर टू इंडियन करेंसी ट्रांजैक्शन जो हो रहे हैं मेरे, वो कौन से डॉलर रेट पे होंगे दैट आई एम नॉट श्योर ऑफ, बट व्हाटएवर द अमाउंट दैट आई एम लूजिंग जस्ट बिकॉज ऑफ द आइदर इंक्रीज और डिक्रीज इन दिस करेंसी प्राइस, दैट विल बी अफेक्टिंग माय ओवरऑल प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस, ठीक है, तो मेरा 100 रुपीज का जो लॉस है दैट इज द फॉरेक्स रिस्क दैट आई एम इनकरिंग, ठीक है, भले मुझे कितना मिला था 1900, कितना इन्वेस्टमेंट था 1672, तो मेरा प्रॉफिट कितना होना चाहिए था, एक्चुअली होना चाहिए था 1900 माइनस 1672, तो ये कितना होता 228, ठीक है, बट जस्ट बिकॉज ऑफ दैट 100 रुपीज लॉस नाउ आई एम ओनली गेटिंग 128 रुपीज प्रॉफिट, ठीक, चलो तो क्लोज अप करते हैं सेशन को. हाँ क्वेश्चन अभी तो मुझे लग रहा है किसी का प्रिपरेशन नहीं है उतना स्ट्रांग, दैट इज व्हाट आई एम फीलिंग टुडे.
हेलो
ठीक है, हेलो, हाँ यस, हाँ ओंकार, हाँ बोलिए
sir. Whenever you do that calculations on board,
अच्छा हाँ
so
कैलकुलेशन,
please if possible then use Excel sir.
एक्सेल का इशू आ रहा है, आई एम ट्राइंग टू सॉल्व दैट, एक जस्ट गिव मी 1 or 2 days, आई एम ट्राइंग टू रिजॉल्व दैट इशू फ्रॉम द टेक्निकल पर्सन. ओके
Okay sir, okay.
Just sit down, we will be having one more like discussion. एक टॉपिक कल हर्षद मेहता वाला वो रिसर्च किया था अगेंस्ट केतन पारिक, वो बोला था कि we will be discussing that, कि नहीं किया, वो आज के लिए था ना वो, तो वो बोला था स्पेसिफिकली, वो कल के लिए नहीं था, या मतलब बाद में नहीं था. ओके ओके, ओनली हर्षद मेहता, केतन पारिक लिखा है ना, ओके. Anyone else? So presentation, see now we will be having mostly 2 topics to cover. Fixed income securities बाकी है, वो होगा अगले सेशन में शायद, उसके बाद होगा स्वैप. After these 2 topics अगर टाइम बचता है एक्स्ट्रा सेशन का, तो वहाँ पे डायरेक्टली प्रेजेंटेशन में we will be going for direct questions, because I think mostly after that you will be having mocks. ठीक है, now let's see कि वो कैसे आपका ऑर्गेनाइज होता है, but start preparing, क्योंकि शायद आपके पास अभी 1 हफ्ते से ज्यादा टाइम नहीं है, तो थियरीज पे फोकस करो. मटेरियल मोरलेस पीपीटी तो मैंने शेयर कर ही दिया आप लोगों के साथ, ठीक है, तो कंसेप्ट पे लग जाओ थोड़ा, जहाँ पे समझ में नहीं आ रहा है यू कैन डायरेक्टली आस्क मी इन द क्लासरूम सेशंस, ठीक है, और गूगल तो है ही आपके पास, यूट्यूब है, तो थोड़ा बहुत सेल्फ एक्सप्लोर पे भी जाओ, पूरा स्पून फीडिंग सिस्टम से जाऊंगा देन यू विल नेवर मेक दैट हैबिट ऑफ एक्सप्लोरिंग एनीथिंग, ठीक है, तो जितना हो सके उतना कोई भी टॉपिक के ऊपर कीप स्टार्टिंग 1 by 1. पहले इंट्रोडक्शन टू फाइनेंशियल सिस्टम, तो वहाँ पे क्या था, कौन कौन से पार्टिसिपेंट्स है, कौन कौन से इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स है, कौन कौन सी मार्केट्स है, कौन से रेगुलेटर्स है, कौन सी बैंक्स है, कौन से इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंकर्स है, उनके रोल्स, उनका कनेक्शंस, उनके ट्रांजैक्शंस, द एंटायर प्रोसेस फ्लो दैट यू नीड टू बी अवेयर ऑफ. सेकंड आएगा वो दोनों कैश इक्विटीज एंड प्रेफरेंस शेयर, ठीक है। तो कैश इक्विटीज का क्या प्रोज एंड कॉन्स है, और मनी मार्केट सॉरी दिस प्रेफरेंस शेयर का क्या प्रोज एंड कॉन्स है, हाउ मेनी टाइप्स ऑफ प्रेफरेंस शेयर्स आर देयर, 4, उसके जो भी 2 सब टाइप्स है यू कैन डिस्कस इट, ठीक है। कौन सा प्रेफरेंस शेयर कब लॉन्च होगा और उसका बेनिफिट विद रिस्पेक्ट टू इक्विटी शेयर्स कब होगा, यू नीड टू नो दैट, ठीक है। तीसरा आएगा मनी मार्केट। तो मनी मार्केट बेसिकली क्यों फंक्शन करता है, शॉर्ट टर्म तो ठीक है लेकिन ज्यादातर डेट के लिए, ठीक है, कंपेयर टू इक्विटी। यहाँ पे इक्विटी नहीं है, डेट है। तो डेट कहाँ कहाँ से आ सकता है, 4 बेसिक इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स, सीडी, सीपी, टर्म डिपॉजिट, जो भी हमने वो डिस्कस किया है। विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू इंटरेस्ट फॉर्मूलास, ठीक है, कितना इंटरेस्ट मुझे पे करना है हर एक बार, तो वो फॉर्मूलास भी आपको बाय हार्ट होने चाहिए, ठीक है। देन कनेक्ट इट विद द transaction of this money market, like what are the advantages and disadvantages compared to equity markets. So this has to be like more or less entire summary of all these 3 chapters, ठीक है। इतना आपको पता होना चाहिए, क्लियर है? ओके
सर,
हाँ, यस,
can we get the recorded lecture of this week?
रिकॉर्डिंग लेक्चर्स, लेट मी ट्राई फॉर दैट। मैं देखता हूँ इन लोगों ने कुछ किया है, तो अगर है अवेलेबल देन डेफिनेटली आई विल बी प्रोवाइडिंग यू।
Okay, sir. Before they shared 2 lectures of FS, introduction lectures of FS
हाँ
on
हाँ,
YouTube.
ओके ओके ओके, हाँ, तो मैं उनको पूछता हूँ, इफ इट इज अवेलेबल दे विल बी शेयरिंग इट विद यू, ठीक है।
Okay, sir.
जस्ट गिव मी 5 मिनट्स, आई एम कमिंग बैक, ओके। मैं पूछ के आता हूँ। एनएमएस, एलएमएस एक्सेस, हाँ, वो उत्कर्ष से ही बात करना पड़ेगा। नीचे जाके आप एक बार सब मुझसे एक बार पूछ लीजिए, ठीक है। एक्चुअली वही तो बोल रहा हूँ, शी वाज नॉट देयर फॉर लाइक ऑन मंडे एंड ट्यूसडे, वेडनेसडे उसका एक्सीडेंट हो गया, तो थर्सडे कल भी लीव पे था, ठीक है, बिकॉज ऑफ 2 डेज। शायद आज आई है मेरे ख्याल से 99%, ठीक है। बट सिंस वी आर हैविंग अर्ली लेक्चर्स, उनका टाइम है 10 बजे के बाद, तो हम तो यहाँ 9 बजे से हैं, फिर तो आई एम नॉट श्योर कि उनका हो गया कि नहीं हुआ। लेट मी जस्ट चेक इट एंड मैं पूछ के आता हूँ।
देखती हूँ। हेलो ओंकार, हेलो।
हाँ, नाही सर बाहेर गेलेत 5 मिनिट थांबायला
अच्छा,
सांगितलं.
हाँ.
आय थिंक झालंय लेक्चर. सर लेफ्ट झालेत ना.
एंड उसने स्कैम किया था 40,000 करोड़ का पूरा। एंड उसका जो स्कीम था वो डंप एंड ड्रॉप एंड पंप एंड डंप था। सो पेमेंट ऑर्डर इशू करता था वो फ्रॉम देयर इज दिस वन बैंक MMCB करके है, महापुरा मर्चेंटाइल कोऑपरेटिव बैंक, और बेसिकली यूज्ड टू गेट फंड्स, इशू करता था फंड्स। और उसने बेसिकली 3 स्टॉक मैनिपुलेट किए थे। आई शो यू द नंबर्स कहां से कहां लिंक गया था
वो ऐसे ही चलेगा, वो थोड़ा हार्ड है।
पहले ग्लोबल टेक करके कंपनी थी, ग्लोबल टेक स्कीम्स, टेली सिस्टम्स। सो बेसिकली उसका प्राइस था 85 ईयर अराउंड। उसने वो मैनिपुलेट करके 3,100 पे लेके गया था मैनिपुलेशन करके। एंड अनदर कंपनी वाज HFCL, अगेन ही टुक फ्रॉम 42 टू डायरेक्टली 2300 पे लेके गया था पूरा। एंड अगेन जी जो फेमस है 175 का था स्टॉक, he took it around 1100 2230। हाँ, और basically he used to or he got famous for in 1997 and 1997 to 2001 तब .com बूम करके टेलीकम्युनिकेशंस में बहुत ज्यादा बूम आ रहा था। तो ही उसको विजन था कि गेट इट कि इसमें पैसा कमाना। तो फिर he saw that technology और इसमें boom है, so he started his own platform Penta for software company करके, और he again manipulated from 170 to when he manipulated that stock again 270 का stock था, फिर he took it over to 2700 करके, मतलब 100 times appreciation कर लिया उसने। तो ऐसे करके he used to बहुत ज़्यादा manipulate करता था। and then later then he got a loan from MMCB, मतलब महारापुरा बैंक से he took loan जिसके ऊपर 18.5 का इंटरेस्ट था from ऐसा हाँ 900 CR
और ग्लोबल ट्रस्ट बैंक
हाँ yes and from MMCB he issued 1.37 करोड़, और वो जो ये था he couldn't repay it, पूरा स्टॉक्स में लगा दिया था और पूरा उसका ये हो गया, स्टॉक्स क्रैश हो गए, he wasn't able to repay, और he only repaid from 137 crores रिपे किए, 130 crores he didn't give back। and then again he was banned from trading, still he was doing insider trading, and again he had served for 2 years of jail in 2014 सेबी की तरफ से उसके ऊपर बैन बैठा था। एंड उसके ओवरसीज भी 2000 to 3000 करोड़ रुपीस ओवरसीज डिफरेंस बैंक्स में है।
केतन पारेख और हर्ष मेहता इंडियन में ही पूरा ट्रेड करता था, बट केतन पारेख ऑल ओवर वर्ल्ड वाइड होती है।
And he used to have 20 to 25 companies, his own companies, and he used to circulate the fund, मतलब अभी ये डाला है स्टॉक में, फिर वो इधर से निकालेगा, उसकी कंपनी में डालेगा, फिर दूसरे स्टॉक में, फिर वो ऐसे सर्कुलेट करके उसका
K10 company।
हाँ K10 companies, yes K10 companies।
And he had also his own bank।
बैंक नहीं नहीं वहाँ पे वो डायरेक्ट एमडी था। हाँ
मर्केंटाइल बैंक की
और एक्चुअली वो बैंक ऑफ इंडिया की वजह से पूरा हाल है।
लेकिन still I am not able to find the answer related to like what is the difference in which way the stock markets were manipulated। ये तो ठीक है कि 100 का 3000 कर दिया या 200 का 2000 कर दिया, तो दोनों केस में वही हुआ है, लेकिन कैसे हुआ है, फंड आ गए थे वो भी पता है, लेकिन हाउ, व्हाट वाज द प्रोसेस इन्वॉल्व्ड?
सब पे आउट ऑर्डर इशू करता था।
हाँ, दैट इज लाइक वी नीड टू डिस्कस व्हाट इज
बाकी ट्रेडर्स और ब्रोकर्स के साथ क्या करता था,
हाँ
ये स्मॉल कैप्स वाले कंपनीज पकड़ता था और उसके 20-30% तो स्टेक लेता था, उसको बूम करता था उसको, देन फिर उसके बाद उसी को वापस सेल कर देता था एक लॉट में। उसके बाद वापस जैसे कोलकाता स्टॉक एक्सचेंज था तो एक बार पूरा गिर गया, तो यही रेगुलर ट्रेडिंग करते जा रहा है।
बट स्टिल दैट अमाउंट, द वे ही हैज गॉट द मनी, मतलब जैसा बीआर था हर्षद मेहता में, यहाँ पे पे आउट था, पे ऑर्डर था, ठीक है। तो वही हमको वो डिफरेंस समझना है, ठीक है। तो आइडेंटिफाई दैट डिफरेंस एंड वी विल बी डिस्कसिंग इन द नेक्स्ट सेशन। वो एक चीज आइडेंटिफाई करके ले आओ।
सो बीआर लूपहोल्स फाइंड किया था हर्षद मेहता ने।
लेकिन वही है, YouTube पे एक अच्छा वीडियो है, डायरेक्टली अगर आपको टेक्स्ट नहीं मिल रहा है ना तो YouTube पे है, जस्ट टू अंडरस्टैंड कि कैसे पे ऑर्डर और बीआर वर्कआउट होते हैं, ठीक है। अगर नहीं मिल रहा है तो मुझे कोई मैसेज कर देना, आई विल बी शेयरिंग दैट वीडियो, ठीक है। एंटी मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग एक्ट, ओके। हाँ, मतलब बहुत सारे ऐसे तो कॉम्प्लायंसेस हैं, जस्ट टू हैव अ बेसिक आइडिया।
वो हम लोग क्वेश्चन अगर एकदम वो प्रॉपर एकदम वो अलग लैंग्वेज में आ जाता समझ नहीं आता।
हाँ, तो दैट इज व्हाई आई एम सेइंग ना कि आपको टर्मिनोलॉजीज ही पता नहीं है पहले तो। मैं इसलिए तो बहुत ही बेसिक ग्राउंड लेवल पे ऐसी टर्मिनोलॉजीज आपको दे रहा हूँ होमवर्क पे कि इसका मीनिंग तो पहले समझ लो, देन आई विल बी एबल टू डिस्कस इट कि ठीक है। अगर आज मैंने जो बोला था कि बजट सरप्लस क्या होता है, डेफिसिट क्या होता है, फिस्कल डेफिसिट क्या होता है, तो मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी समझ में नहीं आएगी। सिर्फ रेपो रेट बढ़ गया घट गया वो तो हमको भी पता है, कितना परसेंटेज चल रहा है दैट वी आल्सो नो, 4% है 18% है, उसका काम नहीं है। लेकिन कैसे होता है, विद रिस्पेक्ट टू विच पैरामीटर्स या फैक्टर्स इट इज वर्किंग अपॉन, दैट इज मोर इम्पोर्टेंट, ठीक है। तो थोड़ा होमवर्क ज्यादा है, तो आई एम श्योर कि वो ट्यूसडे को ही डिस्कस करेंगे, अब तो वीकेंड में नहीं रहता है आपका, ठीक है। और अभी नेक्स्ट चैप्टर वो फिक्स्ड इनकम सिक्योरिटीज है, उसके बाद द स्वैप्स, एंड प्रोबेबली आई थिंक दैट विल बी लाइक द एंड ऑफ दिस फर्स्ट लेवल। तो 3 दिन है शायद आपके पास, जितना प्रिपरेशन स्ट्रांग हो सकते उतना कर लो, शायद बाद में उतना टाइम नहीं मिलेगा, ठीक है। वीकेंड पे छुट्टी है तो यू कैन प्रिपेयर इट, ओके। चलो, थैंक यू। Anyone there online? Hello?